Chapter 1061. Duan Lingtian merely smiled at Huang Chun's words. Was it certain he would become a foreign disciple of the Northern Mountains Lu clan? The reason he came was not to become a foreign disciple of the Northern Mountains Lu clan. Instead, he came so that the Northern Mountains Lu clan would grant him the position of an interim advisor or a revered elder. He could imagine the martial monarch of Northern Mountains Lu clan greeting him politely if his identity as a grade 1 alchemist was revealed. However, I'll give this alchemist competition a try. When the competition officially begins, I can show off my grade 1 pill fire. I'm sure things will get interesting at that time, Duan Lingtian thought to himself as a smile crept up on the corner of his mouth. Huang Chun did not miss the smile that appeared on his face. In his opinion, that smile seemed to show his confidence. It was as though he was confident he would be able to enter the top 30 in the alchemist competition and become a foreign disciple of the Northern Mountains Lu clan. If Huang Chun could read the thoughts in Duan Lingtian's mind, he would probably faint from shock. The alchemist competition had not begun yet. Everybody, including Duan Lingtian, stood at the same spot, patiently waiting. As time went by, fewer and fewer people came. In the end, people finally stopped coming. Whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, the sound of wind whistling reverberated and took everybody, including Duan Lingtian, by surprise. When Duan Lingtoin and the others looked in the direction of the sound, they noticed two old figures joining the crowd. Between these two old men, one was wearing green while the other wore gray. The green-clad old man had a sturdy body, and he had a determined expression on his face. His manner was imposing even though no hints of anger could be seen in his eyes. He exuded an inexplicable sense of oppression that was not visible to the eyes. The gray-clad old man, on the other hand, looked emaciated with his thin body. He looked glum and exuded a gloomy aura. Whoosh, 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 After the appearance of the two old men, 5 more figures appeared behind them like shadows. Among these people, some were old and some were middle-aged. They stood impassively behind the two old men. They stared straight ahead and did not waver at all from the beginning until the end. The Lu clan's people are here. Somebody bellowed. Everybody, including Duan Lingtian, immediately regained their senses and re-examined the 7 people before them. The 2 people at the lead are at the 8th level void transformation stage. As for the other 5, the weakest is at the 4th level void transformation stage and the strongest is at the 6th level void transformation stage. Duan Lingtian immediately extended his spiritual energy and probed the 7 people's cultivation base. Judging from the fact that Northern Mountains Lu clan was a second-rate force, the cultivation base of these 7 people could not be considered strong. However, Duan Lingtian knew they did not need to have strong cultivation base. These 7 people must be the Northern Mountains Lu clan's people who will preside over the alchemist competition since they appear just before the alchemist competition raises its curtains. The people who preside over the alchemist competition are all alchemists themselves. Moreover, their grades must be high. Considering the fact that they're high-grade alchemists, their cultivation base is quite impressive. Duan Lingtian's eyes gleamed. His gaze was so sharp. It was as though he could easily see through the 7 people from the Northern Mountains Lu clan. As it turned out, Duan Lingtian had guessed correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, a great welcome to all of you who came to participate and observe the alchemist competition that's organized by our Lu clan. First of all, I'd like to represent the Lu clan to thank you for your enthusiasm. Secondly, our Lu clan will only recruit the top 30 people in this alchemist competition. If some of you are unfortunate enough to be disqualified, please don't feel discouraged. Our Lu clan will organize another alchemist competition in 3 years' time, the green-clad old man said in a thunderous voice. I'm Lu Su, the elder of Lu clan. This person standing next to me is also an elder of the Lu clan. I'm sure all of you must have heard of him before. He's none other than Elder Lu Jiao, the green-clad old man continued to speak. As he introduced himself, he also introduced the gray-clad old man by his side to the crowd. Elder Lu Jiao, is he the Lu clan's elder who always refined grade 3 pills with a 70% purity or above? It must be him. I previously heard that one of the judges for the alchemist competition is Elder Lu Jiao. Although Elder Lu Jiao is only a grade 3 alchemist, he's one of the best among all the grade 3 alchemists due to the fact that he can refine grade 3 pills with a 70% purity or above. Many people whispered as they discussed the gray-clad old man, Lu Jiao, the Lu clan's elder. Elder Lu Su's also a grade 3 alchemist from the Lu Chan. He has also refined grade 3 pills that has a purity of 70% or above. Although he's not as good as Elder Lu Jiao, he's not that far behind either. That's right, Elder Lu Su is also very remarkable. If I can get some pointers from him, my progress in the medicine refinement Dao will be tremendous. Apart from that, I heard that Elder Lu Su is kind, and he doesn't put on any air. This is something that Elder Lu Jiao can never compare to. People continued to whisper again. Meanwhile, Lu Jiao's face had darkened a little even though he did not react outwardly. As for Lu Su, a hint of happiness could be seen in the depth of his eyes even though his expression was devoid of joy or anger. Everybody, no matter who it was, loved to be praised and not criticized. Today, Lu Jiao and I will be the chief judges for the alchemist competition. The 5 people behind us are all excellent alchemists from our Lu clan. They are the judges responsible for inspecting the results of your medicine refining, Lu Su announced to the crowd. Duan Lingtian only heard half of Lu Su's words. He did not hear the second half of it. Naturally, it was not that he intentionally did not listen. However, his attention was caught by someone else. His gaze was originally on Lu Su and the other 6 people from the Northern Mountains Lu clan, so it was easy for him to notice whose expression was not right. At this moment, his attention was focused on Lu Jiao. He noticed Lu Jiao was looking at a green-clad middle-aged man and nodding his head intermittently as though he was communicating with the green-clad middle-aged man. Lu Jiao's eyes gleamed. It was as though he wanted to devour a certain someone. Duan Lingtian had originally found the silhouette of the green-clad middle-aged man to be slightly familiar, but he did not give it much thought. However, the green-clad middle-aged man suddenly turned his head to look at him at this moment. Ridicule and scorn could be seen in the other man's eyes as a scheming smile appeared on his face. It's him. Duan Lingtian finally recognized the green-clad middle-aged man after seeing his face. No wonder I find him familiar. The green-clad middle-aged man was one of the 3 middle-aged men whom he had punished outside of the Northern Mountains Lu clan's territory. It seems like he and that Lu Jiao know each other. Moreover, they appear quite close. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes. Needless to say, he could guess the content of the exchange between the green-clad middle-aged man and Lu Jiao. They were most likely discussing how to make things difficult for him. However, he was not concerned about it at all. If he was only a grade 6 alchemist, he would most likely fall for their tricks. However, he was not a grade 6 alchemist. Silence. Soon after, Lu Su's voice reverberated and suppressed the noise that was increasing in volume. The entire place immediately fell silent. For a moment, everyone, including Duan Lingtian, looked at Lu Su. When Lu Su saw everyone's eyes were on him, he continued saying, the alchemist competition is divided into 3 stages, preliminary, semifinal, and final. Before the preliminary round, all of you need to draw lots and obtain your number. The preliminary round will be carried out according to the order of the numbers. It's about to begin. Most of everyone's eyes lit up instantly. The preliminary round indicated the start of the alchemist competition. Only by passing the preliminary round could one enter the semifinals. After the semifinals, the final round would begin. Only the most outstanding 30 people could enter the final round. Each of those who entered the final round would be able to enter the Northern Mountains Lu clan and become a foreign disciple. The final round would determine the specific ranking of the 30 people. Those who were ranked at the top would receive lavish rewards. They would also become the focal trainee of the Lu clan. In addition to obtaining physical rewards, I heard the top 3 in the finals will also be the personal apprentices of Lu clan's grade 2 alchemists and get guidance from them. My goal is to enter the top 3 in the finals. If I can get some guidance from a grade 2 alchemist, I believe I'll be a grade 4 alchemist in no time. Those who came to the alchemist competition and who are quite capable do not only wish to be a Lu clan's foreign disciple. All of them hope to get some pointers from the Lu clan's high-grade alchemists. Many people buried their heads together in a discussion as their eyes burned brightly. There were many grade 5 alchemists among them. These people's biggest aim was to become the personal apprentice of a Northern Mountains Lu clan's high-grade alchemist. As the proverb went, those who were in a favorable position would gain special advantage. The personal apprentice would be able to work alongside the grade 2 alchemist. As long as he served the grade 2 alchemist well, he would be able to get some pointers from the grade 2 alchemist. Let them draw the lots, Lu Su ordered as he turned to look at the middle-aged man behind him. Yes, the middle-aged man replied respectfully. He was prepared to fly out and take the items needed to draw lots so that the people who came to participate in the alchemist competition, including Duan Lingtian, could draw their lots. Wait a minute. At this moment, a voice suddenly resonated in the air. It halted the middle-aged man's movement. Elder Lu Jiao. The middle-aged man looked at the old man standing next to Lu Su and did not dare to act recklessly. Lu Jiao, do you have something to add? Lu Su asked. He raised an eyebrow as he looked at Lu Jiao. Lu Jiao nodded slightly before he stepped forward. He looked around before he opened his mouth to speak. Today is the day of the alchemist competition organized by our Northern Mountains Lu clan to recruit outstanding foreign disciples. I'd like to give a warm welcome to all of you who made it here today. However, apart from looking for someone who's talented in medicine refinement Dao, the foreign disciples that our Lu clan recruit must have a good personality as well. From what I've heard, some of you are short-tempered and would casually injure others. Such people are not qualified to participate in the alchemist competition organized by our Lu clan. As Lu Jiao reached the end of his sentence, his eyes gleamed when they landed on the purple-clad young man and the middle-aged man standing in the distance. Chapter 1062. The purple-clad young man was none other than Duan Lingtian. The middle-aged man standing behind him was undoubtedly Shang Quan. The moment Lu Jiao made his announcement and looked at Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan, everyone's eyes shifted toward the two of them as well. In just a short while, the people standing close to Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan immediately put some distance between them. It was as though they feared they would get themselves in trouble as well. For a moment, Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan's surroundings turned empty. Apart from the ice coffin hovering next to Duan Lingtian, only Huang Chun was left standing there. However, his face had turned incredibly pale. He wanted to leave, but he felt bad leaving just like that the moment he recalled he and Duan Lingtian could be considered as acquaintances now. At the moment when Huang Chun was hesitating, Lu Jiao shifted his gaze to him and casually asked, "Are you with them?" The moment the words left Lu Jiao's mouth, horror dawned on Huang Chun's face. He hastily waved his hand. "And no, I don't know them, I don't know them." Huang Chun was flustered. He immediately leapt away and quickly left Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan as though he was avoiding a plague. Huang Chun's words clearly entered Duan Lingtian's ears. However, he was not bothered by it at all. Put aside the fact that he and Huang Chun had only just met, it was well within Huang Chun's right to decide on his own even if Huang Chun was really his friend. This matter should not be forced. He was pretty open-minded about this. Presently, only Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan were left standing at the field. To be more precise, there were 3 of them left. There was still Feng Tianwu who was lying in the ice coffin that was hovering next to Duan Lingtian. "The two of you have terrible temperaments. Our Lu clan doesn't welcome you. Your eligibility to participate in the alchemist competition is revoked," Lu Jiao said nonchalantly as he looked at Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan. The tone of his voice brooked no arguments. It was as though he was a judge that controlled the life and death of a person. With just a sentence, he had sentenced Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan to death. He did not allow them to explain at all. Lu Su who was standing by the side frowned slightly. Naturally, he could see what was happening before his eyes. He knew Lu Jiao was trying to oppress the purple-clad young man and the middle-aged man standing next to him. Earlier, he had noticed Lu Jiao exchanging looks with another participant of the alchemist competition. He found the green-clad middle-aged man slightly familiar. It was as though he had seen him somewhere before. Oh, he had visited our Lu clan previously. He's Lu Jiao's nephew. Soon after, Lu Su finally recalled the green-clad middle-aged man's identity. He knew Lu Jiao was abusing his power for personal gains. Although he was not entirely pleased about it, he had no intention of stopping Lu Jiao at all. When it came down to it, the purple-clad young man and the man standing next to him were outsiders. They did not know each other at all. As for Lu Jiao, he was still an elder of the Lu clan no matter what. He could not possibly offend the latter for the sake of the former. Due to this reason, he chose to remain silent. Terrible temperaments. Duan Lingtian suddenly laughed. The laugh was so vivacious that everyone, with the exception of Shang Quan, thought that he had gone mad. "Laugh all you want. You won't be able to laugh for long anyway." When the 3 middle-aged men who were injured by Duan Lingtian outside of the Northern Mountains Lu clan looked at Duan Lingtian again, mocking sneers could be seen on their faces. In their opinion, now that one of the chief judges of the alchemist competition had spoken up and revoked the purple-clad young man's eligibility to participate the competition, the purple-clad young man would definitely have to leave now. When Lu Jiao saw Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan had remained motionless after hearing his words, he felt as though they had trampled on his dignity. His eyes gleamed coldly as he asked in a deep voice, "Didn't you hear me?" However, Lu Zhao's words were not met with a reply from Duan Lingtian and his follower or their departure. He was met with a righteous voice instead. "Elder Lu Zhao, you're not following the rules at all. Elder Lu Su, what are you trying to say?" Lu Zhao's face darkened instantly when he looked at Lu Su, who was standing next to him. The person who questioned him was none other than Lu Su. He did not miss the changes in Lu Su's expression. He knew Lu Su did not plan to poke his nose into his affair. Initially, he was inwardly praising how sensible Lu Su was. Who knew, in just a blink of an eye, Lu Su had suddenly wanted to stick his nose into this matter. Although the development of the situation was a little out of the blue, Lu Zhao did not give it too much thought. He thought Lu Su had refuted him in the public because Lu Su did not want to spare his feelings. "Elder Lu Zhao, you mentioned they have terrible temperaments. But I can't help but wonder how bad are they actually? Could it be that you've already met them prior to today? Or, perhaps, you know the two of them?" Lu Su seemed to have changed into another person. He had initially closed his eyes to Lu Zhao abusing his power for the sake of his nephew's grudge. Presently, he seemed to have transformed into a fair and righteous person. Let alone Lu Zhao, Lu Su's transformation was so sudden that even Duan Lingtian could not help but feel surprised. When Lu Zhao had righteously announced that he was revoking his eligibility to participate in the alchemist competition and told him to leave the Lu clan, he had carefully studied the expression of this chief judge, Lu Su. At that time, Lu Su's attitude was that of an indifferent bystander. Lu Su's transformation was so abrupt that he could not make sense of the situation for a moment. Why does Lu Su suddenly seems to have changed into another person? What exactly prompted him to change so suddenly? Dun Lingtian was extremely puzzled. However, he felt that there must be a reason behind it. Lu Su's action would definitely offend Lu Zhao, an elder he had worked with for many years in the Northern Mountains Lu clan. It would not be a surprise if Duan Lingtian and Lu Su knew each other and were on good terms with each other. However, the problem was he did not know Lu Su at all. At this moment, Lu Su was going out on a limb for someone he had never met before. Something was not right. Duan Lingtian was extremely sure about this. "I don't know them." Lu Zhao's eyes gleamed coldly in the face of Lu Su's questioning. He replied in a deep voice, "But somebody knows them and was personally injured by them. May I know who and where is that somebody who was injured by them? Can you ask them to step forward and recount the story?" Lu Su raised an eyebrow and nonchalantly said, "After all, who knows if they're intentionally framing him or not? What do you think, Elder Lu Zhao?" "Humph." Lu Zhao snorted before looking at the three middle-aged men, including that green-clad middle-aged man. He said to them indifferently, "Since Elder Su wants to know the ins and outs of the story, tell him the incident without leaving out any detail." Originally, the three middle-aged men thought that the purple-clad young man who injured them would be quickly driven out. They did not expect Lu Su to interfere in the matter. The moment they heard Lu Zhao's order, they quickly replied in unison, "Yes." They looked at Lu Su. "Elder Lu Su, he had blatantly injured the three of us outside the Lu clan's estate. The three of us swear that we've never seen him prior to this. We don't even know who he is." The green-clad middle-aged man looked at Lu Su and said with righteous indignation, "If a scum like him enters the Lu clan, he'll only smear the good name of the Lu clan. He madly injured people in the vicinity of the Lu clan. Moreover, the people he injured are participants of the alchemist competition and potential foreign disciples of the Lu clan. Such a person is not qualified to join the Lu clan at all. On top of that, his companion is also his accomplice. If the two of them enter the Lu clan, they would be the black sheep in Lu clan. They'll definitely tarnish the reputation of the clan." The other two middle-aged men continued to chime in righteously. Meanwhile, a clamor erupted in the surroundings. If that's the case, the two of them really are not qualified to join the Lu clan. Humph. Lu clan is one of the best clan in the Northern Mountain land. How can it possibly accommodate such a violent person? Scram. Get lost. After hearing the green-clad middle-aged man and the other two middle-aged men's words, the people in the surroundings began to point and talk about Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan. They did not mince their words at all. Duan Lingtian remained indifferent to all of it. From the beginning until the end, his expression remained nonchalant. It was as though the person in the midst of the thunderstorm was not him but someone else. However, the fact that he could remain so calm did not mean the others could remain this calm as well. "All of you are like villains who like to lodge a complaint first." Shang Quan's face was extremely flushed. In the midst of all the finger-pointing and talks, he suddenly pointed a trembling finger at the green-clad middle-aged men and his two companions. He yelled, "Yes, it's true that young master did injure the three of you. But, why didn't you tell everyone the details of the story? There are so many people present, why did young master only injure you but not the others?" Shang Quan was so agitated that his body began to tremble when he reached the end of his sentence. He did not care what others said about him, but it was unacceptable for the others to talk bad about his young master. Shang Quan's words immediately shifted the spotlight away from Duan Lingtian to the green-clad middle-aged man and his two companions. "That's right, why did he only choose to injure the three of you? When I first arrived, I flew past him, but he did not harbor any intention to harm us at all. Could it be that you all provoked him first? And because of that, you were all taught a lesson?" Many people began to question the green-clad middle-aged man and his two companions. The green-clad middle-aged man and his two companions were frowning. Meanwhile, Lu Zhao's expression turned sullen. "Humph!" A snort filled the air, louder than the clamor. Under the watchful eyes of the others, a handsome young man dressed in a silk robe flew out and stood haughtily before Lu Su and Lu Zhao. "Third young master." The moment this man appeared, Lu Su, Lu Zhao, and the other 5 Lu clan's disciples immediately bowed at him politely one by one. Perhaps, this newcomer's cultivation base and his accomplishment in the medicine refinement Dao was currently not as good as theirs. However, this newcomer was the lineal disciple of the Lu clan. His position in the Lu clan was a lot higher, far from being comparable to those secondary disciples. This was a clan that heavily favored their lineal kins. I've heard the ins and outs of the story when I was hiding by the side. Since Elder Lu Zhao thinks they're not eligible to stay in our Lu clan, I agree they should leave. The moment the Northern Mountains Lu clan's third young master appeared, the gaze he used to look at Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan was contemptuous. It was as though he was looking at 2 ants that he could trample on whenever he wanted. "Third young master, you," Lu Su's face turned a little pale. "What, Elder Lu Su, you don't trust Lu Zhao's judgment, but, are you doubting my judgment as well?" The Lu clan's third young master interrupted Lu Su's sentence. His gaze when he looked at Lu Su turned even sharper. Chapter 1063. Duan Lingtian looked at the young man who had suddenly appeared with a calm gaze. The Northern Mountains Lu clan's third young master. The sudden appearance of the Lu clan's third young master and his current attitude had undoubtedly confirmed one thing: he was standing on Lu Zhao's side. However, there was still no change on Duan Lingtian's face. It was as though he would remain unmoved even if the sky collapsed on him. When Lu Su was at a loss after hearing the Lu clan's third young master's words, a loud voice resonated in the air and attracted the attention of everyone present. "Third brother, how prestigious and majestic you are." In the distance, a young man flew out and arrived next to Lu Su in just an instant. "Second young master." The moment the young man appeared, Lu Su and the other 5 Lu clan's disciples hastily bowed. When the young man appeared, Lu Zhao frowned lightly before he gave a slight bow. "It's Lu Bai, Lu's clan's second young master. I didn't expect the Lu clan's third young master to make an appearance at the alchemist competition, let alone the Lu clan's second young master. It's said that the Lu clan's second young master is also one of the 2 main heirs of the clan leader of Lu clan. The only person who can compete with Lu clan's second young master to become the next clan leader is none other than Lu Song, the Lu clan's first young master. Indeed, as for this Lu Wai, the Lu clan's third young master, although he's also quite good, he's still a little lacking compared to Lu clan's first young master and second young master. However, I heard that he's the younger brother of the Lu clan's first young master." Many people whispered in a heated discussion. These people knew the Northern Mountains Lu clan quite well. I see, Duan Lingtian's ears were sharp. Naturally, he did not miss all the whispering in his surroundings. In just a second, he immediately grasped the situation. "Second brother, don't tell me you're trying to protect them. These people are despicable and are not qualified to enter our Lu clan." Lu Wai snarled. His eyes gleamed coldly when he saw Lu Bai. However, Lu Bai ignored him. It was as though he did not hear a single word that he had said at all as he continued to stare at the purple-clad young man standing nearby. "We meet again." Lu Bai smiled faintly. The purple-clad young man whom Lu Bai was staring at was none other than Duan Lingtian. Since Lu Bai took the initiative to greet him, Duan Lingtian replied with a smile as well, "Yes, we meet again." When Lu Bai made his appearance, he had instantly recognized him. It was none other than the brother of the pair of brother and sister whom he had met in the past when he left the Darming dynasty to journey to the ancient desert city together with Feng Tianwu and Feng Wudao. He still remembered Feng Wudao had saved the lives of the pair of brother and sister. At that time, he had no idea what it meant when he heard the pair of brother and sister said that they were from the Northern Mountains Lu clan. It was only when he arrived at the Northern Mountain land that he knew the meaning of the words, Northern Mountains Lu clan. A clan that had 10,000 years of history. An alchemy clan. In their entire 10,000 years of existence, not more than 20 grade 1 alchemists had appeared in their clan. Lu Bai suddenly announced as he looked at Duan Lingtian. It was apparent that he was introducing himself. Duan Lingtian smiled in response. At the same time, his gaze swept past Lu Bai and Lu Su who were standing together. He could vaguely guess what the situation was like. Earlier, Elder Lu Su didn't intend to meddle in this matter. However, in just a blink of an eye, he suddenly seemed to be standing on my side. I found it strange initially. Why would he help me? Looking back, he must have done it under Lu Bai's order. Lu Bai must have been hiding somewhere since the beginning and recognized me, Duan Lingtian thought to himself. At this moment, the fog that shrouded Duan Lingtian completely dissipated. The faces of the crowd changed, some drastically and some slightly, when they saw Lu Bai and Duan Lingtian greeting each other like two old friends. He actually knows the Lu clan's second young master. Colors immediately drained from the faces of the green-clad middle-aged man and his two companions. Hints of dread could be instantly seen in their eyes. They did not expect the purple-clad young man whom they hated to the core actually knew Lu Bai, the second young master who had a lofty position in the Northern Mountains Lu clan. Moreover, the relationship between those two did not seem superficial. No wonder Lu Su didn't hesitate to offend me and insist on poking his nose into this unimportant matter. So it turns out that he's a friend of the second young master. Come to think of it, the second young master must have signaled Lu Su to help him. Lu Zhao's face darkened. He could vaguely figure out what had happened. Meanwhile, his eyes were gleaming coldly. That cold gaze did not leave the purple figure standing nearby. Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow when he sensed the cold gaze on him. He casually glanced once at Lu Zhao before he returned to ignoring him. Grade 3 Alchemist, 8th level Void Transformation. To be honest, be it the medicine refinement Dao, or his martial Dao practice, Lu Zhao did not warrant Duan Lingtian's attention at all. Duan Lingtian actually knows the Lu clan's second young master. Huang Chun stood at the side as he looked at Duan Lingtian who was smiling as he exchanged glances with Lu Bai, the second young master of Lu clan. At the same time, regret filled his heart. He felt as though his heart was bleeding. He knew he had missed the opportunity to forge a relationship with the Lu clan's second young master. If he did not flee from Duan Lingtian earlier as though he was avoiding the plague or claimed that he did not know Duan Lingtian, he would have been treated as a friend by Duan Lingtian. If he was Duan Lingtian's friend, it would be easy for him to forge a relationship with the Lu clan's second young master through Duan Lingtian. However, he had destroyed all of this with his own hands. Second brother, I was wondering why you would protect them. As it turns out, they're your acquaintances, Lu Bai exclaimed in a slightly astonished tone as he stared at Lu Bai. Wow, second brother, your social circle is really wide. I can't believe you actually know such lowly people. Lu Bai's tone was filled to the brim with ridicule. He paused for a moment before he continued saying, however, even if these wretched and despicable people are your friends, they're still not allowed to enter the Lu clan according to our Lu clan's rule. However, Lu Bai continued to ignore him just like before. This made Lu Bai's face darken even more. Why did you come to our Lu clan? Lu Bai asked as he looked at Duan Lingtian. There was a hint of puzzlement in his voice. Duan Lingtian smiled as he announced his true intention, I want to be a revered elder or an interim advisor of the Lu clan. A revered elder, an interim advisor. The instant Duan Lingtian's words left his mouth, the entire place descended into silence. Even Lu Bai was taken aback by bewilderment. After all, it was not easy to become a revered elder or an interim advisor of their Lu clan. If he was a martial artist, he would have to possess strength at the martial monarch stage at least. Only a martial monarch was worthy enough to become a revered elder or an interim advisor. If he was an alchemist, only a grade 2 alchemist or higher was qualified. Martial monarch, grade 2 alchemist or higher. Lu Bai shook his head silently as he sized Duan Lingtian up. He thought that Duan Lingtian was pulling his legs earlier. Ha 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 ha. After a moment of silence, many people began to regain their senses and burst out in laughter. Most of them looked at Duan Lingtian like he was an idiot. Just with him alone, even if he doesn't exploit his relationship with the Lu clan's second young master, I'm afraid it's still a question if he can successfully make it to the next round in the alchemist competition and become a foreign disciple in the Northern Mountains Lu clan. Exactly, why doesn't he look at a mirror and take a good look at himself? He wants to be a revered elder or an interim advisor of the Lu clan. Who does he think he is? I think the bragging has gone to his head. But, how dare he brag in front of so many people? I think he's just looking to be scolded. Maybe he's daydreaming, Many people ridiculed Duan Lingtian. All of them, without exception, thought Duan Lingtian was bragging or daydreaming. Did he want to be a revered elder or an interim advisor of the Northern Mountains Lu clan? There was no point in thinking about it if one did not have a cultivation base at the martial monarch stage or if one was not a grade 2 or higher alchemist. This Duan Lingtian has really lost his mind. The green-clad middle-aged man and his two companions were sneering as they looked at Duan Lingtian. They thought Duan Lingtian was strange. He's an idiot after all. Lu Jiao sneered. Haha, second brother, are you sure your friend is sane? Lu Wai threw his head back laughing. The gaze that he used to look at Duan Lingtian was filled with contempt. Slap. At the exact moment when Lu Wai's words left his mouth, a loud and crisp clap echoed in the air. Everyone could see a red palm print appearing on one side of the Lu clan's third young master's face. Soon after, that side of his face completely swelled up. Half of his face looked like a pig face. At the same time, everybody noticed an additional figure standing in front of Lu Wai. It was a purple figure. Most of the people, including Lu Bai, became completely stunned when they saw the purple figure. Why you dare to slap me? Lu Wai covered the swollen side of his face. His eyes gleamed red with killing intent when he glared at the purple-clad young man before him. He wanted to kill him on the spot. However, he did not dare to act recklessly even though he was extremely angry and itched to butcher the man in front of him into 1,000 pieces. The fact that this person could slap him without him noticing meant that this person's strength far exceeded his own. Third young master keeps saying that I'm wretched and despicable. I wonder if the fact that you use your words to insult people as you please can also be considered as wretched and despicable. The person who stood before him and had slapped him was none other than Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian looked calmly into Lu Wai's eyes. A faint smile could be seen playing on the corner of his mouth. This smile seemed like a devil's smile in Lu Wai's eyes. When Lu Wai heard Duan Lingtian's words, the killing intent in his eyes turned even more intense. Without any warning, he suddenly shouted, "Lu Jiao, kill him!" Whoosh! A split second before Lu Wai finished his words, Lu Jiao, who was prepared since the beginning, flew out instantly and charged toward Duan Lingtian like a flash of lightning. Die! Lu Jiao's originally gloomy face and eyes were intensely cold. With a lift of his hand, a spirit saber appeared out of thin air and sliced down at Duan Lingtian's head. Swish! An ear-piercing sound echoed as the saber cut through the air. Chapter 1064. Clang! Swish! The shrill sound of metal clashing reverberated in the air, followed by the sound of slashing. The people present on the scene could hear the sound of metal clashing, but not more than half of them heard the sudden sound of a sword slashing swiftly. That's fast. Lu Su was the strongest person on the scene apart from Lu Jiao. He seemed to have seen something that surprised him. His eyes narrowed and horror filled his face. The others could not see what was happening at all. In their eyes, after Lu Wai, the Lu clan's third young master, shouted, Lu Jiao, the Lu clan's elder, made his move to kill Duan Lingtian. However, they heard the sound of metal clashing when Lu Jiao was charging toward him. In the next moment, they saw fresh blood falling from the sky. It looked like dazzling roses in the air. Bam! Soon after, a body crashed to the ground. How's this possible? Many people on the scene gasped in surprise when they saw the body that was no longer breathing. Disbelief filled their faces and eyes. Soon after, all eyes shifted to the purple figure that was standing there haughtily. Shock and disbelief could be seen in their eyes. He really killed the elder Lu Jiao? How could he possess such powerful strength? How old is he? He looks around 25 years old at the most. Is he a demon? No way. If he's a demon, how could he possibly participate in the alchemist competition organized by the Lu clan? It's practically impossible for a demon to become an alchemist, let alone a grade 6 or above alchemist. If he's really a human martial artist, it means that he's not only terribly talented in the martial Dao. His talent in medicine refining is most likely good enough to cause others to envy him. The gazes that were trained on the purple figure was immediately filled with hints of shock. It was hard for them to imagine the existence of such a monstrous person in this world. Uncle! A green figure cried out in sorrow as it flew out and landed next to Lu Zhao's body. His voice sounded extremely bleak. Uncle! Duan Lingtian, who had caught the public's attention, immediately swept a cold glance at the green-clad middle-aged man next to Lu Zhao's body. No wonder this Lu Zhao was trying to find fault with me. As it turns out, one of the men I injured earlier was his nephew. At this moment, Duan Lingtian finally understood everything. In the entire place, Shang Quan, excluding Feng Tianwu, who was lying in the ice coffin, was the only one who was not surprised by the strength Duan Lingtian had demonstrated. All the others were so confounded that they did not regain their senses for a long time. He's actually this strong. To think I was worried about his safety earlier. After Lu Bai, the Lu clan's second young master, regained his senses, he stared at the purple figure standing nearby. At this moment, all he felt was how huge and mighty the purple silhouette was. Did he really come from the distant area in the far south? That small rural place actually produced such a monster. Lu Bai's face was filled with disbelief. Due to their previous encounter, it was not hard for him to figure out Duan Lingtian's background. How did second young master meet this Duan Lingtian? He's absolutely monstrous. The corner of Lu Su's mouth twitched violently. Lu Zhao's speed was as fast as lightning when he charged at Duan Lingtian that even Lu Su could not react in time. He thought Duan Lingtian would be killed by Lu Zhao, but who would have thought the outcome would be so dramatic? Why you? When Duan Lingtian turned to look at Lu Wai, the Lu clan's third young master, Lu Wai, who was standing near him, turned pale and immediately panicked. Just like everyone else, he did not expect Duan Lingtian to possess such terrifying strength. He was so strong to the point that Lu Zhao, who was at the 8th level void transformation stage, died in his hands. From the moment Lu Zhao made his move to the moment he died, Duan Lingtian's heaven and earth phenomenon that was mobilized by his energy did not appear at all. In fact, even Lu Zhao did not have time to mobilize the heaven and earth energy to gather the heaven and earth phenomenon. Lu Zhao was the one who made the first move. The instant he made his move, he was already killed. Everything happened in just a blink of an eye. Duan Lingtian's movement was awfully fast. From the very beginning until the end, he did not even get to see everything clearly. Lu Wai's face turned red as he looked at Duan Lingtian in horror. Both his legs were trembling uncontrollably. At this moment, Duan Lingtian made his move. Whoosh! A hand extended out as quick as lightning and easily grabbed Lu Wai by the neck before it lifted him up forcefully. His feet were lifted off the ground and hung in the air. Meanwhile, Duan Lingtian's eyes that were looking into Lu Wai's eyes were filled with a hint of coldness. Killing intent rose from Duan Lingtian's body. It was obvious he intended to kill Lu Wai. Why you want he to kill, me? Lu Wai asked with difficulty. His face had turned purple from Duan Lingtian's hold on his neck. The horror that rose from the bottom of his heart and soul could be seen in his eyes. Since you've already ordered somebody to kill me, is there any reason why I can't kill you? Duan Lingtian's face and voice were calm. However, the people present on the scene could feel the cold killing intent from his calm voice. All they felt were chills running down their spines. Is this Duan Lingtian crazy? He actually wants to kill the Lu clan's third young master. If he really kills the Lu clan's third young master, it'll be hard for him to escape death even if he's talented in martial Dao and medicine refining. Killing the Lu clan's third young master is equivalent to giving the Lu clan a slap in the face. The Lu clan will never give up until he dies. At that time, it'd be useless even if the Lu clan's second young master pleads for mercy on his behalf. He would definitely die. The people watching at the side whispered among each other. Each and every one of them had an extremely glum expression. The green-clad middle-aged man crouched next to Lu Zhao's body and lifted a hand to close Lu Zhao's eyes that were staring blankly into space. He roared with an enraged expression on his face as he glared at Duan Lingtian with crazy eyes. Kill him! Kill him! He knew he would never be able to avenge his uncle. For this reason, he could only place his bet on the Lu clan. The fact that Duan Lingtian killed his uncle meant that he had already offended the Lu clan. However, the Lu clan would definitely not kill Duan Lingtian and avenge his uncle if the Lu clan's second young master pleaded for mercy on his behalf. After all, his uncle was only a secondary disciple of the Lu clan. His life was as low as a weed compared to the Lu clan's second young master. However, everything would be different if Duan Lingtian killed the Lu clan's third young master. At that time, the Lu clan would spare no effort in killing Duan Lingtian even if the Lu clan's second young master pleaded for mercy. Duan Lingtian, don't kill him. Lu Bai, the Lu clan's second young master, and Lu Su, the Lu clan's elder, shouted almost simultaneously. Panic could be seen on their faces. As a member of the Lu clan, there was no doubt they knew what consequences he would face if he killed a lineal disciple of the Lu clan. Duan Lingtian frowned as he turned to look at Lu Bai. He was quite fond of Lu Bai. However, he could not let go of Lu Bai just like that. Although he had killed Lu Zhao who attempted to kill him earlier, it was Lu Wai who had given him the order. Lu Wai was the real culprit. He would not let go of someone who wanted him to die. Duan Lingtian, calm down. Calm down, you must not be so impulsive. Although Lu Wai deserves to die, there's no point in sacrificing your future for his sake. Lu Bai tried to persuade him continuously as his breathing quickened. Sacrifice my future. Duan Lingtoin raised a brow. No matter what, Lu Wai is still a lineal disciple of our Northern Mountains Lu clan. If you kill him, it's equivalent to giving our Lu clan a slap in the face. The entire Lu clan will spare no effort in killing you. Lu Bai quickly nodded his head as he voiced out his concern. The moment Duan Lingtian heard this, he fell momentarily silent. His eyes gleamed as though he was thinking about something. Meanwhile, the atmosphere had turned incredibly tensed. Everyone's eyes landed on Duan Lingtian one by one. They wanted to know what choice Duan Lingtian would make. Kill Lu Wai, or not to kill. I wonder if this Duan Lingtian would kill the Lu clan's third young master or not. Many people whispered among themselves. Their voices were filled with doubt. Well, it's obvious he would die if he kills the Lu clan's third young master, so I don't think he dares to do it. I think so too, majority of the people felt that Duan Lingtian would not dare to kill Lu Wai. After all, Duan Lingtian would die if he killed Lu Wai. If they were in Duan Lingtian's shoes, they were certain they would not dare to kill Lu Wai. In their opinion, their own lives were more important than everything else. There was no need to ruin their own lives in a moment of anger. Cough, why you won't dare to kill me? Why you won't dare to? Lu Wai coughed twice. He glared spitefully at Duan Lingtian with a smug look on his face even though he was lifted up by the neck by him. Are you sure? I don't dare to kill you. After hearing Lu Wai's provocative words, Duan Lingtian, who was originally deep in thoughts, regained his senses. His eyes were gleaming brightly. His grip on Lu Wai's neck tightened immediately. Cough, what are you doing? Lu Wai had difficulty breathing due to Duan Lingtian's tightened grip. Duan Lingtian, no. Horror dawned on Lu Bai instantly when he saw this. Duan Lingtian, you must think about it carefully. Once you kill the third young master, you won't able to live anymore. Lu Su advised. Young master, Shang Quan had more or less been affected by the surroundings, atmosphere. He looked at Duan Lingtian with a worried expression as he persuaded him to, there's no reason to put yourself in danger for his sake. It did not seem like Duan Lingtian heard the advice from Lu Bai, Lu Su, and Shang Quan as he muttered to himself, the Northern Mountains Lu clan has existed for 10,000 years. When he reached the end of his sentence, he suddenly stilled. In the next instance, he turned his head and looked at Lu Bai before asking, in the history of your Lu clan, was there anyone who survived after killing a lineal disciple of Lu clan? Yes, there were. Although Lu Bai did not understand the purpose of Duan Lingtian's question, he still nodded his head. Who were they? Duan Lingtian asked as his eyes lit up curiously. Chapter 1065. They're divided into two types of people. One of them was a martial monarch whom even our Lu clan was powerless against. When Lu Bai reached this point in his sentence, he paused for a moment as his face turned glum. There was a bit of helplessness in his tone. Martial monarch. Moreover, the martial monarch was so strong that even the Lu clan was powerless against him. Lu Bai's words were clearly heard by everyone present at the scene. For a moment, everyone agreed with him. A martial monarch who could make the Lu clan powerless was obviously stronger than the strongest Lu clan's martial monarch. The Lu clan could not act against someone like that. If he killed the lineal disciple of Lu clan, the Lu clan could not do anything to retaliate even if they were enraged. Although the Lu clan had connections with some of the first-rate forces at the other side of the Ruo Shui River, the first-rate forces would only make a move if the Lu clan was facing destruction. Unless the Lu clans was under the threat of annihilation, the first-rate forces would not make a move even if the clan leader died, let alone the death of a lineal disciple. They guarded the Lu clan, not an individual from the Lu clan. How about the other type? Duan Lingtian continued to ask with brightly lit eyes. The other type is not a martial monarch, Lu Bai explained unhurriedly. After successfully getting the attention of everyone else other than Lu clan's disciples, he continued to add, the other type of person's attainment in the medicine refinement Tao is almost at the peak. They're none other than grade 1 alchemists. Grade 1 alchemists. The moment the words left Lu Bai's words, the entire place descended into silence. At this moment, even the sound of a needle falling on the ground could be heard. Ah, so it was a grade 1 alchemist. The Northern Mountains Lu clan is a family of alchemists. A grade 1 alchemist would definitely gain the respect of the Lu clan. Moreover, a grade 1 alchemist is very influential. This could be seen in the legacy passed down in the Lu clan. The Lu clan could endure for 10,000 years is because of those grade 1 alchemists in the past. After everybody regained their senses, they were hit by a pang of realization. In terms of martial strength, a grade 1 alchemist might not be better than the Northern Mountains Lu clan's powerhouse. However, the influential power a grade 1 alchemist possessed was enough to elicit dread from the Lu clan. It was to the point that they did not dare to offend him at all. Cough cough, did you hear that? Oh, only a martial monarch or a grade 1 alchemist, cough cough, C can kill me, A and get A away with it, cough, cough, you A or not, Q qualified enough to K kill me. Lu Wai, who was lifted up by the neck, once again became agitated as he glared scornfully at Duan Lingtian. He felt no fear since he knew he had something to fall back on. Only a martial monarch or a grade 1 alchemist can kill you and get away with it. Duan Lingtian's eyes gleamed as he looked at Lu Wai calmly. Horror dawned on Lu Wai when he sensed Duan Lingtian's grip tightening again. He struggled as he yelled, no, no. Duan Lingtian. Horror also dawned on Lu Bai, who was standing by the side. He did not expect Duan Lingtian would choose this dangerous path even after knowing he would die if he killed Lu Wai. Snap! The loud and crisp sound of bones breaking echoed in the air, causing everyone present to feel chills running down their spines. One of the 5 Lu clan's disciples who followed Lu Su and Lu Zhao immediately turned around and fled the scene. The other 4 also had disbelief written all over their faces. All of their gazes were fixed on that purple figure. The people's eyes were focused on the purple figure as well. The owner of the purple figure was none other than Duan Lingtian. Lu Wai's neck was broken by Duan Lingtian's tightened grip. At this moment, his head drooped to the side listlessly. Boom! With a raise of his hand, Duan Lingtian calmly tossed Lu Wai's body on the ground. His action was so nonchalant, it was as though what he had done was just a small matter. He's crazy. He's crazy. Majority of the people looked at Duan Lingtian as though they were looking at a ghost. They thought he was insane. He really killed the Lu clan's 3rd young master. He's not afraid of death. Now that he has killed the Lu clan's 3rd young master, it's useless even if the Lu clan's 2nd young master pleads for mercy on his behalf. It's impossible for him to escape death now. What the hell is he thinking? He probably doesn't want to live anymore. Many of the onlookers buried their heads together in discussion. They found it difficult to comprehend Duan Lingtian's action. Although he knew it would be difficult to escape death after killing the Lu clan's 3rd young master, he still hardened his heart and killed the Lu clan's 3rd young master. Was he not pushing himself into a corner by doing this? Duan Lingtian, Lu Bai's face was pale. The thing he worried about the most had happened. Naturally, the cause of his ashen face was not Lu Wai's death. Although he and Lu Wai were both lineal disciples, they were not blood-related at all. He was vying for the position of the next clan leader with Lu Song, the 1st young master of Lu clan. Due to that reason, Lu Wai, who was Lu Song's blood brother, had schemed in the dark and tried to kill him multiple times. To be completely honest, he was quite happy that Lu Wai was dead. However, his heart sank a little the moment he remembered Duan Lingtian might be killed because of this matter. Although he and Duan Lingtian had only met twice, he was saved by the powerhouse next to Duan Lingtian when they first met. Like the saying went, the love for the house extends even to the crows perching on its roof. Due to the feelings of gratitude, he did not wish for anything to befall Duan Lingtian. Otherwise, how could he possibly face the benefactor to whom he owed his life to? Young man, you're too eager to win. Lu Su sighed. He thought after Duan Lingtian was provoked by Lu Wei, he had lost his senses and killed Lu Wei due to his ego. A single slip could cause lasting sorrow. In his opinion, this saying was very appropriate to describe Duan Lingtian's current situation. It did not matter if it was Lu Bai or Lu Su, none of them asked Duan Lingtian to flee at all. It was not because they wanted to see Duan Lingtian's misfortune. They knew the Lu clan would still catch him even if he fled. It was meaningless for him to escape now unless he was a martial monarch. This Duan Lingtian is most likely going to die today. What a waste of his monstrous talent. Exactly, this Duan Lingtian is really monstrous. He has such a horrifying cultivation base that he could even kill Lu Jiao with just one blow. I think he's already at the 9th level void transformation. Moreover, his talent in medicine refinement Dao is equally as terrifying. A genius whom even God is jealous of. The majority of the people present felt that Duan Lingtian would definitely die today. They sighed and shook their heads as they lamented Duan Lingtian's impending death. Uncle, did you see that? Duan Lingtian killed the Lu clan's third young master. He killed the Lu clan's third young master. The green-clad middle-aged man smiled widely. He crouched next to Lu Jiao's body as he lowered his head to whisper to the body at his side, "You must watch carefully. That Duan Lingtian will be killed by the Lu clan soon." At this moment, the green-clad middle-aged man's face filled with joy. It was as though he could already picture the scene of Duan Lingtian being killed by the Lu clan's powerhouse. Young master, Shang Quan, unlike everyone else who felt that Duan Lingtian would definitely die, had a different opinion. He was carried away by the atmosphere earlier, so he was initially a little worried his young master would kill the Lu clan's third young master in a moment of recklessness and invite trouble for himself. However, his heart had calmed down after his own young master had killed the Lu clan's third young master. He understood his young master very well. He knew his young master would not act impetuously if he did not have the confidence. He had a feeling his young master had a way to overcome this crisis. He was looking forward to seeing it. "Who are you? Why did you kill my Lu clan's lineal disciple?" At this moment, a boisterous voice reverberated from the distance and attracted everyone's attention. In the next instance, two old men appeared at the place where everybody was looking at. One was fat, and the other was thin. The fat one was short while the thin one was tall. The former looked like a ball while the latter looked like a bamboo. The two old men flew in the air before coming to a halt near the crowd. As they hovered in the air, their eyes immediately found the purple-clad young man standing nearby. Soon after, another figure appeared. It was none other than the Lu clan's disciple who had left earlier. He was the one who called the two old men over. "Elder Yuan, Elder Gui." The instant the fat and thin old men appeared, Lu Su and the other four Lu clan's disciples bowed politely to them. Even Lu Bai, the Lu clan's second young master, took the initiative to nod at the old men. However, the two old men did not respond to Lu Bai and the others. This was because their attention was focused on Duan Lingtian. When they inadvertently saw the body lying near Duan Lingtian, they could not help but be consumed by rage even though they had already prepared themselves for it. Their eyes turned fierce as they glared at Duan Lingtian. Meanwhile, there was turbulence in the air surrounding their bodies even though they did not move and no energy could be seen rising from their bodies. The sounds of the explosion could be faintly heard as well. As one fell, another rose in succession. Two martial monarchs. The spiritual energy Duan Lingtian had extended out the moment the fat and thin old men appeared felt as though it had met a bale of cotton when he tried to probe them. He could sense the two old men before him were true martial monarchs. As expected of the Northern Mountains Lu clan, just the death of a lineal disciple and two martial monarchs immediately come knocking on the door. At this moment, Duan Lingtian finally understood the meaning of the word, clan. If it was just a sect, this situation would not happen. "Why did I kill your Lu clan's lineal disciple?" Duan Lingtian looked fearlessly at the two martial monarchs as he replied unhurriedly, "Since he wanted to kill me, why can't I kill him? Don't tell me I should just stand there and wait for my death." Chapter 1066. The reason's not important to us. What's important is the end result. Do you know the consequence of killing our Lu clan's lineal disciple? The fat and thin old men spoke almost simultaneously. Everyone heard their words clearly. Wah, wah. When they spoke, a terrifying aura surged out of their bodies and swept toward Duan Lingtian as they glared at him. However, Duan Lingtian remained unmoved even in the face of the two imposing martial monarch. He remained motionless like a mountain in the midst of a storm. Both old men were stunned when they saw that. A hint of surprise could be seen on both their faces. This brat is pretty good, too bad you killed a lineal disciple from our Lu clan. You'll have to die today. The old man who was as round as a ball narrowed his eyes and stepped forward. He was Lu Yuan, the Lu clan's guardian elder. The rolling energy on his body rose as though it was just waiting for the old man to release it. Elder Yuan, please show mercy. At the moment when Lu Yuan was about to attack Duan Lingtian, a voice suddenly sounded. It caused Lu Yuan to withdraw his energy slightly. His gaze then landed on the figure that appeared as quick as lightning in front of Duan Lingtian. Lu Bai. Lu Yuan could not help but furrow his eyebrows when he saw the person pleading for mercy on Duan Lingtian's behalf. He did not expect their Lu clan's second young master would plead for mercy on behalf of the person who killed the Lu clan's third young master. An old man who was as skinny as bamboo looked at Lu Bai with a sullen expression. He was also a Lu clan's guardian elder, Lu Gui. His voice was indifferent as he said, Lu Bai, you should know the Lu clan's rules as the Lu clan's second young master, withdraw. Lu Bai was a lineal disciple of the Lu clan and also the Lu clan's second young master. However, the Lu clan's guardian elder was at the martial monarch stage. They had a lofty status in the clan and was not inferior to the clan leader of Lu clan. A lineal disciple was beneath his notice. Elder Yuan, Elder Gui. Lu Bai took a deep breath and focused his gaze on Lu Yuan and Lu Gui. He said in a tone that was neither arrogant nor servile, nobody's to blame for Lu Wei's death but himself. As for Duan Lingtian, he saved my life once. I will not stand and watch as my savior is killed. Lu Bai said in one breath. He looked at Lu Yuan and Lu Gui with a straight face. He did not waver once. Wah! Lu Bai's words created a storm. Duan Lingtian saved the Lu clan's second young master's life. Many people were surprised. Young master saved the Lu clan's second young master's life. Shang Quan was also stunned. His young master did not mention this matter before. Duan Lingtian lifted an eyebrow slightly. Among everyone present, apart from Lu Bai, the only one who knew the truth was him. He did not save Lu Bai's life. The one who saved Lu Bai's life was Feng Wudao, not him. Naturally, he was aware of why Lu Bai had said that. He was trying to save his life from the two Lu clan's martial monarchs. Lu Bai's good intention warmed Duan Lingtian's heart. Lu Bai, it doesn't change the fact that he killed one of our Lu clan's lineal disciple. Even if he did save your life, he must die today. Lu Gui took a step forward and stood next to Lu Yuan. At the same time, a domineering invisible energy surged out of his body. In just a moment, it shrouded Lu Bai completely and pulled him away from Duan Lingtian. Elder Gui. Lu Bai's face changed dramatically. He discovered the invisible energy pulling him away from Duan Lingtian was extremely strong, so much so that he could not escape the binding at all. Considering that you've saved the life of our Lu clan's second young master, we'll give you 10 breath for you to say your last words. After that, I'll send you to hell. There was a flash in Lu Yuan's small eyes when he spoke. His eyes were trained on Duan Lingtian. Young master, Shang Quan had taken over the task of towing the ice coffin. At this moment, his expression had changed drastically. He took a step forward with the intention of shielding Duan Lingtian like Lu Bai did earlier. Stand back. However, a thunderous voice he was very familiar with sounded just as he just took a step forward. Shang Quan turned to look at Duan Lingtian as he said anxiously, Young master, Don't worry, nothing will happen to me. Shang Quan's words were interrupted midway by a voice. He recognized his young master's voice. Although Shang Quan did not know where Duan Lingtian got his confidence from, he trusted Duan Lingtian unconditionally. In the end, he stood earnestly at his original spot. Nothing will happen. Lu Su shook his head and sighed in the distance when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. In his opinion, Duan Lingtian did not realize the severity of the situation he was in. Since he had killed the Lu clan's lineal disciple, he would have to be one of the two special types of people in order to escape death today. There was no doubt about it. Is Duan Lingtian crazy? He can still say he's fine even at this moment. I think he's feigning confidence to console those around him. Judging by the way the Lu clan greeted Elder Yuan and Elder Gui, I think they must be two of the three Lu clan's guardian elders, Lu Yuan and Lu Gui. Two martial monarch powerhouses. Elder Yuan and Elder Gui personally came here. It's futile for the Lu clan's second young master to plead for mercy. This Duan Lingtian will definitely die. Everyone present was caught up in their discussion. They thought Duan Lingtian was insane. At this moment, the look everyone gave Duan Lingtian was as though they were looking at a dead person. In their opinion, there was no way Duan Lingtian would survive this. From the very beginning, they did not think Duan Lingtian belonged to either one of the two types of people the Lu clan's second young master, Lu Bai, mentioned. Subconsciously, they all thought it was impossible. Even Lu Bai thought it was impossible subconsciously. If Duan Lingtian dies, how can I explain this to my savior if I meet him again in the future? Lu Bai, who was bound at the side by Lu Gui's power, had an extremely glum expression on his face. Although he felt anxious for Duan Lingtian, he was completely helpless at the moment. There was no way he could break out of the binding with his strength alone. Lu Gui was a martial monarch powerhouse. It was far from what he could compete with. Arrogant kid. Lu Gui had also heard Duan Lingtian's words. His eyes gleamed coldly. If Lu Yuan did not say he would allow Duan Lingtian to say his last words, Lu Gui would have already attacked Duan Lingtian. The fact that Duan Lingtian dared to say that in front of him meant that he did not take him seriously. You have the duration of 5 breaths left. Lu Yuan spoke in a low tone. The expression on his face was also slightly ghastly. He did not expect the purple-clad young man to be so arrogant. If he had known this earlier, he would not have given him a chance to say his last words. Everyone continued watching as the situation progressed. After Lu Yuan spoke, Duan Lingtian extended his right hand out. He flipped it so his palm faced upward and the back of his hand faced downward. What's he doing? Most of the people present were confused when they saw Duan Lingtian's movement. They could not figure out what he was trying to do. After a while, 2 breaths time had passed. Lu Yuan coldly said again, 3 more breaths left. Since 2 breaths ago, Duan Lingtian had maintained the same position. Even Lu Yuan and Lu Gui, the 2 Lu clan's guardian elder at the martial monarch stage, could not figure out what Duan Lingtian was trying to do. Lu Yuan, hand him over to me once the time's up, Lu Gui said calmly. It was obvious he wanted to deal with Duan Lingtian personally. Lu Yuan nodded his head in assent. There's only 2 breaths time left. Duan Lingtian won't die in vain since he's dying in the hands of the Lu clan's martial monarch. Do you think Duan Lingtian has a problem in his head? He's going to die soon, but still, he remains silent. Moreover, he's posing in such a weird way as well. Does he think the Lu clan's elder Yuan and elder Gui will show him mercy because of that? He's too naive. Duan Lingtian's a prodigy. The mistake he committed on impulse will end in a tragedy. This shows that those whom God loves, die young. Well, he dug his own grave. He could have spared the Lu clan's 3rd young master, but he killed him. Everyone present was whispering among themselves. A lot of them thought it would be a waste for Duan Lingtian to die just like that. After all, not only did Duan Lingtian show a strong innate talent in the martial Dao, his innate talent in refining medicine was extraordinary as well. He could be considered as an all-rounded monster prodigy. However, this monster prodigy, Duan Lingtian, had to die just because he killed a Lu clan's lineal disciple. Moments later, Lu Yuan opened his mouth again to say, 1 more breath left. His voice became colder. Even his gaze on Duan Lingtian was icy. Heng! Lu Gui snorted as his robe billowed and fluttered in the wind. The energy on his body began to brew. It rose and gained momentum as he prepared to attack after 1 breath. He was going to kill the purple-clad young man standing before him in a blow. Everyone held their breath and silently watched as the martial monarch gathered his energy. Young master, Shang Quan clenched both his fists. Although he trusted Duan Lingtian, he was still worried about Duan Lingtian since he was influenced by the tense atmosphere. Duan Lingtian, who had been quietly and calmly standing there with his right hand raised, finally had a change in his expression when he saw Lu Gui was about to attack. There was a faint smile on his face. The smile was so faint that nobody saw it. Time's up. Finally, 1 breath had passed. Everyone present trembled in their hearts. When everyone's eyes shifted to Lu Gui to watch him make his move, they found him hovering in the air motionlessly. At this moment, Lu Gui was staring blankly ahead. He was dumbstruck. Chapter 1067. Everyone's eyes followed Lu Gui's gaze that was trained on a purple-clad young man standing on the other side. The person Lu Gui intended to kill was none other than Duan Lingtian. However, everyone was taken aback when they saw Duan Lingtian. It was as though the sight that met their eyes were extremely shocking. What's wrong with them? Shang Quan, who felt anxious on behalf of Duan Lingtian, glanced at him once before he glanced at the others. Apart from Feng Tianwu who lay in the coffin and himself, everyone, including Lu Bai, the Lu clan's second young master, was staring blankly at his young master like a fool. Is this because of the wisp of flame rising from young master's hand? Shang Quan seemed to have discovered something as he focused his gaze on the flames rising from Duan Lingtian's palm. If one had to point out a difference between his young master then and now, it would be the wisp of flame that rose from his palm. Is that the pill fire? Shang Quan could vaguely guess what the flame was. However, he could not figure out the grade of the pill fire that rose from Duan Lingtian's hand. Duan Lingtian, the force that bound Lu Bai in the distance had disappeared due to Lu Gui being shocked, but Lu Bai was unaware of it. He was staring blankly at Duan Lingtian. More accurately, he was looking at the wisp of flame that had unexpectedly risen from Duan Lingtian's hand. As the lineal disciple and second young master of an alchemist family, the Lu clan, he had instantly recognized that wisp of flame as the pill fire with just one glance. Purple pill fire edged in gold, is that the violet gold pill fire? A grade 1 pill fire. Lu Bai's eyes widened, shock and awe were written on his face. Even in his wildest dream, he did not dream of seeing the sight before his eyes. That's the violet gold pill fire. That seems to be the violet gold pill fire. It's a grade 1 pill fire. An alchemist that can manifest grade 1 pill fire is undoubtedly a grade 1 alchemist. This Duan Lingtian is a grade 1 alchemist. How's that possible? Lu Bai recovered from the shock at the same time with a small number of the people present. There was a lot of discussions, and awe was written on everyone's faces. At this moment, there were only shock and awe in their eyes as they looked at Duan Lingtian. They were shocked by Duan Lingtian's attainment in the medicine refinement Dao, and they were in awe of Duan Lingtian's identity. Grade 1 alchemist. In the sky, the two old men's faces that were originally ablaze with anger and killing intent had vanished and was replaced by respect. Soon after, they hurriedly flew down and landed before Duan Lingtian. Their eyes were focused on the wisp of flame in Duan Lingtian's hand. Lu Yuan's round and fat face twitched as his small eyes widened. He said in a slightly startled voice, "It really is the violet gold pill fire." Meanwhile, Lu Gui stared blankly at the purple flame edged in gold in Duan Lingtian's hand. He muttered to himself, "Grade 1 pill fire. He's really a grade 1 alchemist. Why, are Elder Yuan and Elder Gui worried that I'm pretending to be a grade 1 alchemist?" Duan Lingtian asked as he narrowed his eyes. Duan Lingtian's words felt like two giant hammers that struck Lu Yuan and Lu Gui's chests with an immense force. It caused them to tremble before they slowly recovered from the shock. Lu Yuan and Lu Gui were the two strongest guardian elders in the Lu clan. They were martial monarchs. Their gazes toward Duan Lingtian had changed now that Duan Lingtian's identity was revealed. There were less contempt and more awe in their gazes. "Greetings, Master. Greetings, Master." As the guardian elders of an alchemist family, the Lu clan, they were very much influenced by the Lu clan. Their regards toward a grade 1 alchemist were very different. In their eyes, a grade 1 alchemist was someone they looked up to. Grade 1 alchemists were not to be provoked even if they were martial monarch powerhouses. On Cloud Continent, the influence of a grade 1 alchemist was extremely shocking. If a grade 1 alchemist was willing, they could move many people who were stronger than them by just making a promise to refine a certain amount of grade 1 spirit pills for those who wanted to kill them. At that time, they would definitely be everyone's target. Put simply, they could not afford to provoke a grade 1 alchemist. Naturally, they backed down after Duan Lingtian had revealed his identity as a grade 1 alchemist. However, they did not only back down because they were afraid they might invite trouble. They were also doing it for the sake of the Lu clan. If the Lu clan, as an alchemist family, had offended a grade 1 alchemist, others would laugh at them and think they had no sense if the news spread. Moreover, if this grade 1 alchemist wanted to make trouble for the Lu clan, the clan would descend into chaos even if they were under the protection of the first-rate forces from the inner land. Naturally, they could take the risk and kill this grade 1 alchemist who might not be as strong as they were. However, they would then have to prepare for the possibility of a crisis. Grade 1 alchemists, no matter how solitary they were, would most likely have done someone a favor and helped them refine grade 1 spirit pills. The connections a grade 1 alchemist had was enough to bring trouble to the Lu clan. If the situation progressed to that point, both parties would most likely end up dead. No one knew the influence a grade 1 alchemist had better than the Lu clan. It was all thanks to the dozens of grade 1 alchemists from Lu clan that they managed to survive for 10,000 years. So, what now? You're not going to kill me now? Duan Lingtian sneered. No, we don't dare. We don't dare to. Lu Yuan and Lu Gui were still hovering midair as they looked at Duan Lingtian. They were looking down at him condescendingly as though they were looking like an ant just a moment ago. However, they had to walk on eggshells like mice that had encountered a cat when they faced Duan Lingtian now. This Duan Lingtian turned out to be a grade 1 alchemist. Oh god, how old is he? Previously, he had killed the Lu clan's elder, Lu Jiao, who was an 8th level void transformation martial artist with just a blow. Taking his age into account, his strength and his innate talent in martial Dao could be considered as monstrous. The problem is, apart from being extremely talented in martial Dao, he's even more talented when it comes to refining medicine. He's already a grade 1 alchemist at such a young age. If I didn't know it's almost impossible for a demon to be an alchemist, I wouldn't believe he's human like us. At this time, everyone present had recovered from the shock. However, they were shocked again as they began to discuss the matter. How's that possible? The green-clad middle-aged man who was standing next to Lu Jiao's body stared ahead blankly. Similar to his two other companions, he could not believe his eyes at all. Duan Lingtian is a grade 1 alchemist. Among everyone present, the one who felt the most regretful was Huang Chun. Huang Chun had originally become friends with Duan Lingtian. They had also exchanged pleasantries. However, his friendship with Duan Lingtian was ruined because of a wrong decision he made. The error he committed on impulse might lead to lifelong sorrow. At this moment, it was too late even if Huang Chun's heart was filled with remorse. In this world, there was no medicine for regrets. Grade 1 alchemist. Young master, he's a grade 1 alchemist. Shang Quan's gaze brightened as joy filled his face. So that's why young master said he'll be fine. As it turns out, he's a grade 1 alchemist. Grade 1 alchemists were one of the two types of people that could get away with killing a lineal disciple of Lu clan. Duan Lingtian. At this moment, the Lu clan's second young master, Lu Bai, walked toward Duan Lingtian with glowing eyes. You're actually a grade 1 alchemist. I'm a little upset that you hid this from me, Lu Bai said in a disgruntled tone. Duan Lingtian looked at Lu Bai and smiled faintly. You didn't ask me. If I knew you're a grade 1 alchemist, I wouldn't have worried. Lu Bai smiled bitterly. Earlier, he felt as though his heart was hanging by a thread. He was afraid he would not be able to give an explanation to his savior. After all, Duan Lingtian was with his savior back then. It was obvious their relationship was not simple. Lu Bai's eyes suddenly brightened. It was as though he recalled something as he stared at Duan Lingtian like a precious treasure. Right, I still remember, you said earlier the reason you came to the Lu clan is to become a revered elder or an interim advisor. Revered elder, interim advisor. Lu Yuan and Lu Gui, who were standing near Duan Lingtian, felt anxious initially. Their eyes brightened and their faces were filled with a pleasant surprise when they heard Lu Bai's words. They immediately looked at Duan Lingtian with keen and sparkling eyes. If the young man before their eyes was a revered elder or an interim advisor of the Lu clan, it would undoubtedly bring good fortune to the Lu clan. He was a grade 1 alchemist. Based on the Lu clan's history, the appearance of the last grade 1 alchemist was nearly 1,000 years ago. There was no grade 1 alchemist at all in the past few hundred years. The Lu clan's second young master's words also reminded me of what Duan Lingtian said earlier. Duan Lingtian seemed to have said he wanted to be the Lu clan's revered elder or interim advisor. He did say that. I heard it. Then again, I thought he was only bragging earlier. Me too. I thought he was bragging. After all, those who are qualified to be the Lu clan's revered elder or interim advisor or either martial monarch powerhouses or grade 2 alchemists or above. At that time, I didn't think he would have such qualifications. Who could have guessed he's not only an alchemist at grade 2 or lower, he's actually a grade 1 alchemist. After the reminder from Lu Bai, many recalled that Duan Lingtian did say such a thing. Master. Lu Su, who slowly recovered from the shock, looked at Duan Lingtian expectantly as he waited for his reply. Chapter 1068. Originally, Lu Su, like the others, thought Duan Lingtian was just bragging when he said he came to the Lu clan to be a revered elder or an interim advisor. The first thought in Lu Su's heart was Duan Lingtian would certainly die when he saw Duan Lingtian had ignored the Lu clan's second young master's advice and resolutely killed the Lu clan's third young master, Lu Wai. When the Lu clan's two strongest guardian elders appeared and confronted Duan Lingtian about the death of Lu clan's third young master, Lu Wei and the second young master Lu Bai failed in pleading for mercy, Lu Su did not think Duan Lingtian would survive. However, the subsequent development of the matter was completely beyond his expectation. When the Lu clan's guardian elder, Lu Gui, was about to kill Duan Lingtian manifested a wisp of pill fire. Violet gold pill fire. Grade 1 pill fire. He domineeringly revealed his prestigious Grade 1 alchemist identity and completely reversed the situation. Not only did he survive, but he also earned the admiration of everyone present. Grade 1 alchemist. His identity was equivalent to a golden medallion to escape death in a second-rate force like Lu clan. That aside, this ridiculously young Grade 1 alchemist had the intention of joining the Lu clan to become a revered elder or an interim advisor. How could he not be excited? Once this Grade 1 alchemist joined the Lu clan, maybe he could rely on his status of being on the second young master's side and ask some questions about refining medicine. As the saying went, a baker's wife may take a bite out of a bun, and a brewer's wife may drink from a tun. A fishmonger's wife may feed on a conger, but a serving man's wife may starve from hunger. Perhaps he might break through and become a Grade 2 alchemist with some enlightenment from this Grade 1 alchemist. In the Lu clan, there was quite a lot of Grade 3 alchemists but only a few Grade 2 alchemists. Once he became a Grade 2 alchemist, he would soar in the sky and achieve greatness. Lu Su looked at Duan Lingtian earnestly as he waited for his response. He prayed anxiously. He fervently prayed that the Grade 1 alchemist master would not change his mind about the Lu clan and dismiss the idea of becoming a Lu clan's revered elder or interim advisor due to the unpleasant incident earlier. However, Lu Su was not the only one who felt anxious. Everyone present, including Lu Yuan and Lu Gui, the two Lu clan guardian elders, were also feeling anxious. Duan Lingtian. Lu Bai stared at Duan Lingtian with a glint in his eyes and an expectant expression. After the earlier incident, I wonder if Master Duan Lingtian would still be willing to join Lu clan and become the Lu clan's revered elder or interim advisor. Everyone had their eyes trained on Duan Lingtian. They were also curious about his reply. Naturally, most of their gazes were filled with anticipation and hope. These people were all confident in their attainment in the medicine refinement Dao. All of them felt they would definitely be able to pass the alchemist competition organized by the Lu clan and join the Lu clan. They had subconsciously considered themselves as the Lu clan's foreign disciples. In their opinion, if this Grade 1 alchemist master really became the Lu clan's revered elder or interim advisor, they might have a chance to ask some questions regarding the medicine refinement Dao in the future. In turn, they would gain some insights and possibly break through. Maybe I should reconsider it. Earlier, those two were so keen on killing me. Duan Lingtian glanced at Lu Bai before he looked at Lu Yuan and Lu Gui. His eyes narrowed as a faint mocking smile hung on the corner of his mouth. Lu Bai heard his words, and his face changed dramatically. Elder Yuan, Elder Gui, I hope you can apologize to Duan Lingtian. If the Lu clan lost a Grade 1 alchemist interim advisor because of your impulsiveness, you'll be considered sinners in the Lu clan. Lu Bai immediately turned to look at Lu Yuan and Lu Gui to yell at them, completely disregarding their surroundings. He had completely ignored Lu Yuan and Lu Gui's lofty status in the Lu clan. He knew he had to fight for Duan Lingtian to stay and become the Lu clan's interim advisor. Usually, both of them would feel extremely dissatisfied if Lu Bai yelled at them in public. However, they did not feel any dissatisfaction today. Furthermore, as soon as Lu Bai ended his sentence, Lu Yuan and Lu Gui had already bowed at Duan Lingtian and said in unison, "We apologize for our offense earlier. We hope Master won't take offense. If Master is willing to join the Lu clan, both of us will do anything you want to the best of our abilities. We won't object even if Master wants to punish us." A Grade 1 alchemist was too important to the Lu clan. Due to this reason, Lu Yuan and Lu Gui, who were martial monarchs and the Lu clan's guardian elders, were willing to bow, apologize and make promises in order to appease Duan Lingtian and make him stay. It seems the reasons Lu clan survived for 10,000 years and remained strong are not only because of the protection of the first-rate forces from the inner land. It's because the people from Lu clan will do anything for their clan. How rare. Yes. As the Lu clan's guardian elders and martial monarch powerhouses, they actually bowed and apologized to make a Grade 1 alchemist stay in the Lu clan. Regarding this, not many martial monarchs from the other forces can do that. While the people present were whispering among themselves and praising the resolution of the people from Lu clan, they were also staring intently at Duan Lingtian. All of them wanted to know if the other party would be willing to join Lu clan and become their revered elder or interim advisor, since Lu Yuan and Lu Gui was so sincere. Suddenly, the air in a distance stirred. Following that, a loud voice reverberated in the air. The clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Rui, along with guardian elder, Lu Ji, and the rest of the elders welcome Master Duan. Under everyone's watchful eyes, a handsome and sturdy middle-aged man dressed in green robe walked abreast with a red-clad old man. A dozen more old men and middle-aged men followed behind them. In just a blink of an eye, they all landed and stood next to Lu Yuan and Lu Gui as they looked at Duan Lingtian with admiration in their eyes. It's the clan leader of Lu clan. And the Lu clan's other guardian elder. Oh, God, the clan leader of Lu clan and all 3 guardian elders personally came. This is rare. All these is because of this Master Duan Lingtian. A grade 1 alchemist means a lot to the Lu clan. The Lu clan will definitely fight for it at all cost. After the initial shock, everyone began to discuss among themselves. Their discussion pushed Duan Lingtian, a grade 1 alchemist, to a new height. Clan leader, Elder Lu Ji. Duan Lingtian greeted Lu Rui and Lu Ji with gleaming eyes. After that, he turned to look at all the Lu clan's elders behind them and nodded slightly as a greeting. Duan Lingtian was not surprised by the arrival of the Lu clan's senior officials. When he displayed his grade 1 pill fire, he noticed the person from Lu clan who had summoned Lu Yuan and Lu Gui earlier had quietly left again. The senior officials led by the clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Rui, was obviously summoned by him as well. Master Duan is indeed a rarely seen prodigy in this world. At such a young age, you have not only achieved extraordinary martial Dao and cultivation, you also have a shocking achievement in the medicine refinement Dao. You're already a grade 1 alchemist. It's very admirable, Lu Rui praised. These words came from the bottom of his heart without any pretense. Such a young man with extraordinary martial Dao and cultivation, in addition to being a grade 1 alchemist. He could not help but feel shocked even if he was the clan leader of the Lu clan. Master Duan, Lu clan's juniors have offended you. We hope you won't take offense to that. If Master Duan doesn't mind, please come to our Lu clan's estate. We'll treat Master Duan as our guest of honor and compensate you, Lu Ji said following that. After Lu Ji's finished his sentence, it was completely silent. The cause and effect of today's incident were witnessed by everyone present. First, Duan Lingtian had killed a Lu clan's elder before he killed the Lu clan's 3rd young master. The former might not be a huge issue, but the latter was the Lu clan's prestigious lineal disciple. He was not someone one could kill at will even if Duan Lingtian was in the right. Due to that reason, 2 of Lu clan's guardian elders came in to kill Duan Lingtian without asking for his reason. However, all of that was turned upside down after Duan Lingtian revealed his grade 1 alchemist's identity. First, the 2 Lu clan's guardian elders apologized sincerely. Then, the clan leader of the Lu clan and another guardian elder along with the rest of the Lu clan's elders came personally and apologized to Duan Lingtian with guardian elder, Lu Ji as their representative. Based on their words, they even wanted to treat Duan Lingtian who killed one of their Lu clan's lineal disciple as the guest of honor and compensate him. Everyone felt like they could not keep up with the development of this situation. After they recovered from the shock, they were hit by a pang of realization. They knew it was all because Duan Lingtian had shown by his ability to manifest a grade 1 pill fire and reveal his identity as a grade 1 alchemist. Grade 1 alchemist, clan leader, Elder Ji. At this time, the Lu clan's 2nd young master, Lu Bai, walked over to Lu Rui and Lu Ji's side and whispered something to them. As he spoke, Lu Rui and Lu Ji's eyes brightened. Their faces were filled with a pleasant surprise. It seems that the Lu clan's 2nd young master told them that Master Duan had intended to join the Lu clan and become the Lu clan's revered elder or interim advisor. That should be it, a lot of them secretly guessed. The subsequent scene proved them right. Master Duan, if you're willing to join us, the Lu clan is willing to treat you as our first interim advisor. In the future, if Master Duan needs anything, Lu clan will do its best to obtain what you need. The clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Rui, cupped his hands and bowed at Duan Lingtian as he said sincerely, "Please, Master Duan. Please join the Lu clan and become the Lu clan's interim elder." Following that, the Lu clan's guardian elder, Lu Ji, led all of the Lu clan's elders and bowed respectfully to invite Duan Lingtian to become an interim elder of the Lu clan. It was indeed a high status. At this moment, Lu Bai, Lu Su along with Lu Yuan and Lu Gui also bowed down one by one and said, Please, Master Duan. Join Lu clan. After that, everyone from Lu clan bowed and sincerely invited Duan Lingtian to join the Lu clan. Once again, the entire scene descended into silence. For those present, the scene in front of their eyes was definitely a scene they would remember for the rest of their lives. Chapter 1069. A young man who looked like he was in his 20s made the senior officials from the Lu clan, one of the two largest forces in the northern mountain land, bow to invite him to be their first interim advisor. Duan Lingtian's expression was carefree when faced with the sincere invitation from the Lu clan's senior officials, like the one being invited was not him. It was as though he would remain calm even if Mount Tai collapsed before his eyes. At this moment, the clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Rui's words echoed in Duan Lingtian's ears. In the future, if Master Duan needs anything, the Lu clan will try its best to obtain it for Master Duan. Was that not the reason he came to the Lu clan? Since Lu Bai is a friend and seeing how sincere the clan leader of Lu clan and all the elders are, it would unreasonable for me to refuse. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Duan Lingtian slowly spoke. He had seized the opportunity and indirectly did Lu Bai a favor. He said yes. As expected, the senior officials from Lu clan turned to look at Lu Bai after Duan Lingtian stopped talking. He immediately became the center of attention. Lu Bai, you did well. The clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Rui, nodded as he looked appreciatively at Lu Bai. For a moment, Lu Bai could not help but feel a little scared. Although he was the Lu clan's second young master, he was only second among the younger generation of the Lu clan's lineal disciples. Relationship-wise, the clan leader of Lu clan was his second cousin once removed. The younger generation of the Lu clan's lineal disciples was ranked according to their age. Currently, there were more than 20 of them. Lu Bai was ranked second, hence he was known as the Lu clan's second young master. The next clan leader would be chosen among them. Currently, the ones who had the highest chance to inherit the clan leader position was Lu Bai, the Lu clan's second young master, and the Lu clan's first young master. Since Lu Bai was praised by the clan leader, it showed that he was undoubtedly one step closer to inheriting the position of clan leader. Even when the second young master was very young, I knew he wasn't simple. In fact, I thought he was a promising child. It seems that I'm right judging by how things turned out. He managed to win over a very important person for the Lu clan this time. Judging from the relationship between the second young master and Master Duan, there's no need to worry about the prosperity of Lu clan if he inherits the position of clan leader, right? You're right, comma. Meanwhile, many of the Lu clan's elders began to flatter Lu Bai. The elders who sided with Lu Bai seized the opportunity to express the benefits if Lu Bai became the next clan leader of the Lu clan. The elders who sided with the Lu clan's first young master, Lu Song, looked at each other and smiled bitterly. They would have taunted their rival if they heard them flattering the second young master in ordinary circumstances. However, they did not dare to do so now. Who knew if Master Duan would leave if they acted without thinking? After all, he was a friend of the second young master, Lu Bai, and they seemed to be close. They did not want to become a traitor to the Lu clan, so they could only dutifully remain silent. Meanwhile, some of them were filled with anxieties as they deliberated over abandoning their master and showing their allegiance to the second young master, Lu Bai. Since the second young master, Lu Bai had a connection with a grade 1 alchemist, his position in the Lu clan would definitely rise in the long run. Even the Lu clan's clan leader and 3 guardian elders would pay more attention to him who was previously in a weaker position. Lu Bai could not help but smile bitterly to himself when he heard the elders, who had previously remained impartial, flatter him to show their allegiance. Those impartial Lu clan's elders did not side with him or Lu Song previously. He did expect that just a word from Duan Lingtian would be more effective than his careful planning for the past 10 years. He had planned for 10 years before some of the Lu clan's elders came to his side to help him. However, Lu Bai was also comforted by the thought. After all, Duan Lingtian was a grade 1 alchemist. His existence in the Lu clan was superior and inviolable. In fact, there was no need for him to fight Lu Song at all if Lu Bai was a grade 1 alchemist. There would be no dissent even if he wanted the current clan leader to abdicate so he could take the position for himself. In the Lu clan, one's status would be above everyone else as long as one managed to break through and become a grade 1 alchemist. If he said 1, no one in the Lu clan would dare to say 2. That included the clan leader and the other Lu clan's martial monarch powerhouses. The earliest rule that was passed down in the Lu clan stated that a grade 1 alchemist had the highest status in the Lu clan regardless of whether he was a lineal disciple or a secondary disciple. It was a rule that could not be violated. Perhaps, that was the reason the people from Lu clan reacted like a mouse encountering a cat when they met a grade 1 alchemist. However, I killed the third young master of Lu clan earlier. Won't I be punished after I become the Lu clan's interim elder? Duan Lingtian suddenly said at the moment when the people of Lu clan were rejoicing. It was as though he had suddenly poured cold water on them while they were taking a hot shower. One by one, they regained their senses and collect their stray thoughts. Of course not. The clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Rui, was the first to recover and immediately shook his head. Lu Wai, that boy had always been trouble. I think Elder Duan wouldn't have killed him if he didn't actively provoke Elder Duan. Lu Ji, the Lu clan's guardian elder, added. When Lu Ji spoke, he addressed Duan Lingtian as Elder Duan. From the moment Duan Lingtian promised to be a Lu clan's interim elder, he was already considered a prestigious Lu clan's elder. As stated by the clan leader, Lu Rui, he was the Lu clan's first interim advisor. In light of his position, even Lu Rui had to be respectful to him. To a certain extent, his current status in the Lu clan was above everyone else. You're right. In the past, I've always thought that Lu Wai boy had shifty eyes and didn't look like a good man. Elder Duan, you did well by killing him. You got rid of a Lu clan's scourge, the other guardian elder, Lu Yuan, continued saying. Yes, Elder Duan, you helped clean up the Lu clan. There's no way we'll punish you. In fact, we must thank you. The guardian elder, Lu Gui, who previously proclaimed that he wanted to deal with Duan Lingtian personally to avenge Lu Wai, had completely changed his attitude. The change was so drastic that everyone present was dumbfounded. However, no one dared to say anything. It was not a joke. They were not like Duan Lingtian, who was a grade 1 alchemist. If they dared to gossip about this Lu clan's guardian elder, he would never let it go. Even if he did not deal with them now due to his reputation, he would find a chance to deal with them later on. If one describes the Cloud Continent as a starry sky and the people on Cloud Continent as the stars in it, young master's undoubtedly the brightest one. Shang Quan stood in the distance with a smile on his face. He was proud to be able to follow a master like Duan Lingtian. However, he could not help but feel dejected when he recalled his insignificant strength. He would not be able to help his young master with his current strength, he would only drag him down. I hope I can further improve my strength by relying on the Lu clan. According to the young master, I can use spirit fruits to boost my cultivation and use that profound assimilation formation to improve my comprehension of the sword concept. Shang Quan recalled what Duan Lingtian said to him not too long ago. This Lu clan should have spirit fruits and that profound assimilation formation, right? Shang Quan felt a little anxious when he thought about this. Alright then. Although Duan Lingtian was certain the senior officials from the Lu clan would not seek revenge after he revealed his identity, he was still glad when he heard them verbally confirming it. He never thought the identity of a grade 1 alchemist could be so useful. Of course, that's because the Lu clan's family is an alchemist family, other families might not be so accommodating. Duan Lingtian understood this very well. Elder Duan, you've been traveling on the road, and I'm sure you're tired. Please rest in the estate, Lu Rui said warmly to Duan Lingtian before he looked at Lu Bai. Let Lu Bai bring you there. There's no rush, I still want to see the alchemist competition, Duan Lingtian said as he shook his head. Although it was impossible for him to join the alchemist competition now, he was still interested in observing. It was the first alchemist competition he had ever seen in his life. He was very curious and excited. He was curious about how the alchemist competition was judged as well as the alchemists' levels in the foreign lands. He was excited about seeing a group of alchemists in action. It was his first time seeing so many alchemists. Since Elder Duan is so interested, we'll accompany you then, Lu Rui said to Duan Lingtian as he smiled. The other senior officials from the Lu clan nodded. They did not have any other opinion, nor did they dare to have any other opinion. Clan leader, elders, I'm just taking a look, all of you can head back and rest, Duan Lingtian hurriedly said. He was discomfited by the enthusiasm of the Lu clan's senior officials. Lu Ji smiled and said to Duan Lingtian, Elder Duan, the reason we want to stay is to hear your opinion on the young ones. Since you're here, I think you should be the main judge of the alchemist competition. However, the smile on his face looked like the smile of an old fox in Duan Lingtian's eyes. Yes, Elder Duan, all of us would like to hear your opinion on the young ones. The group of Lu clan's elders seized the opportunity and agreed with him. Chapter 1070, Duan Lingtian did not even get the chance to reject Lu Ji before the group of elders from the Lu clan spoke up one after another. He did not get a chance to reject them at all. Meanwhile, the clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Rui, and the other Lu clan's guardian elders were looking at him with anticipation. How could he reject them? Naturally, he could reject them if he really wanted to. However, he dismissed the thought of rejecting them since he would benefit from the Lu clan in the future. I'll join the fun then. Duan Lingtian nodded and accepted the offer. He did not feel any pressure at all being the main judge of the alchemist competition organized by the Lu clan. Moreover, he would be able to observe the alchemists' techniques up close. He did not intend to venture into the medicine refinement Dao. The memory of medicine refinement that the rebirth martial emperor left behind was sufficient for him to be at the top in Cloud Continent. One must know the rebirth martial emperor was even higher than a grade 1 alchemist. He was a royal grade alchemist back then. As someone who had inherited the memory of a royal grade alchemist, it was not difficult for Duan Lingtian to judge the medicine refinement level of a group of grade 5 and grade 6 alchemists. Duan Lingtian wanted to reject the offer earlier because he thought it was troublesome. However, he had no choice but to do it now even if it was troublesome. There was a saying that went, if someone invites you to a meal and you accept his hospitality, you'll find it difficult to say anything against him. Although he had yet to benefit from the Lu clan, he would benefit from them in the future. That was the main objective of him joining the Lu clan after all. Stop! Suddenly, a fierce scream entered Duan Lingtian's ears. He was shocked and turned to look at the person who shouted. Lu Bai. Soon after, Duan Lingtian saw the person who had shouted was the Lu clan's second young master, Lu Bai. He was shouting at 3 middle-aged men who were secretly trying to leaving. When Duan Lingtian looked in the direction where Lu Bai was looking at, he saw the 3 men and recognized them with just a glance. The 3 middle-aged men were none other than the 3 who had disrespected Feng Tianwu, who was lying in the ice coffin and was subsequently injured by him. The 3 of them wanted revenge. The green-clad middle-aged man worked with the Lu clan's elder, Lu Zhao, in an attempt to prevent Duan Lingtian from participating in the alchemist competition organized by the Lu clan. Unfortunately, things did not go their way. It was to the extent that Lu Zhao even died in Duan Lingtian's hand. After that, Duan Lingtian no longer bothered with the 3 of them. He was busy dealing with the Lu clan's third young master, Lu Wei. In the end, he became the Lu clan's interim elder. It was obvious the 3 middle-aged men wanted to flee after they saw him achieving his goal. However, isn't it too lenient to let them leave just like that? Duan Lingtian's eyes gleamed when he looked at the 3 middle-aged men. His face turned somber. Following Lu Bai's fierce scream, everyone, including Duan Lingtian, had their eyes trained on the 3 men. The 3 of them froze as though they had turned into sculptures. Master Duan Lingtian, please let us go. Soon after, one of them turned around and kneeled on the ground. He proceeded to kowtow to Duan Lingtian and begged for mercy. Master Duan Lingtian, please spare my life. This has nothing to do with me. Another man followed by kneeling and kowtowing. Only the green-clad middle-aged man was left standing and staring at the Duan Lingtian who killed his uncle. HMPH. How dare you stare at Elder Duan with your filthy eyes? A scream reverberated in the air suddenly. Subsequently, Duan Lingtian felt a gust of wind at his side. It was obvious that somebody had dashed past him. It was so fast that he could not react in time at all. Bang! When he regained his senses, he immediately heard a loud thud. He saw a bamboo-like silhouette at the place the green-clad middle-aged man was standing. It was one of the Lu clan's 3 guardian elders, Lu Gui. Blood mist hung in the air near Lu Gui, and the green-clad middle-aged man was nowhere to be seen. Duan Lingtian knew very well that the green-clad middle-aged man was dead. He was killed by Lu Gui. The blood mist was a result of his body exploding. Lu Gui, the Lu clan's guardian elder, was a martial monarch powerhouse. It was extremely easy for him to kill the green-clad middle-aged man. Before the heaven and earth energy even appeared, the green-clad middle-aged man had died and vanished completely from the world. Master Duan Lingtian, please have mercy. Master Duan Lingtian, please have mercy. Elder Gui, please have mercy. Elder Gui, please have mercy. The 2 remaining middle-aged men's expressions changed when they witnessed the death of their friend. They kowtowed hard on the ground and begged for mercy fearfully. Soon after, their heads began to bleed. Elder Duan, what should we do about them? Lu Gui turned around and smiled as he looked at Duan Lingtian. However, the smile on his sunken cheeks looked even more awful than crying. I don't care, Duan Lingtian said casually as he shrugged. At the same time, he looked away from the two middle-aged men. He ignored them as though they were made of air. Lu Gui was momentarily stunned before he looked at the clan leader of Lu clan, Lu Rui. There's no reason for the people who have offended Elder Duan to live in this world, Lu Rui said indifferently. No, the two middle-aged men who were kneeling on the ground shuddered and lifted their heads immediately. The expression on their faces changed drastically when they heard Lu Rui's words. Bang! Almost as soon as they lifted their heads, a loud explosion reverberated like thunder in the air. Under everyone's watch, they experienced what the green-clad middle-aged man experienced. They turned into blood mist and vanished completely from this world. Gasp, 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 comma. Most of the alchemists participating in the alchemist competition could not help but inhale sharply. Their eyes were filled with respect as they looked at Duan Lingtian again. Ever since this elder Duan joined the Lu clan, it seems like his position in the clan is even higher than the clan leader of Lu clan. Someone exclaimed. That's normal, after all, he's a grade 1 alchemist. I bet somebody regrets it now. Comma. Many people were whispering among themselves while the others were looking at a middle-aged man standing nearby. The middle-aged man had an ugly expression on his face. I remember him, he and Duan Lingtian conversed for a while earlier. It seemed like everything went well and they became friends. However, he avoided Duan Lingtian as though he was the god of misfortune when the Lu clan's elder, Lu Jiao, made it clear he was against Duan Lingtian. I remember him, back then, he said he didn't know Duan Lingtian. However, Duan Lingtian's position rose in a blink of an eye after he revealed his identity as a grade 1 alchemist. If the man didn't do what he did, perhaps he might be able to rise with Duan Lingtian. That's fate. Some people have the opportunity but didn't grab it. In the end, all they can do is feel helpless. Comma. More and more people began to discuss the man. Some people sympathized with him, and some took pleasure from his misery. The middle-aged man was none other than Huang Chun. Huang Chun stood there while the discussion around him entered his ears like piercing needles. His body trembled involuntarily. The discussion was akin to pouring salt on his wound. His heart was already filled with regrets. The mockery he received was like adding fuel to the fire. It made him feel even more remorseful. Why did I do that? If I didn't do that, perhaps I don't even have to participate in the alchemist competition. I might be able to join the Lu clan directly. Comma. Apart from feeling regretful, he also blamed himself for this. Whoosh. Eventually, he could no longer endure it and leapt up into the sky. He disappeared before everyone's eyes. It was clear he did not want to participate in the alchemist competition any longer. Duan Lingtian watched Huang Chun leave emotionlessly. He understood Huang Chun abandoned him to protect himself earlier. However, Huang Chun stated that he did not know him later on. When Huang Chun said that, Duan Lingtian also acted like he did not know Huang Chun. Therefore, he remained emotionless even when Huang Chun left. Let the alchemist competition begin. When Lu Su raised his voice, the people present snapped back to reality and stopped discussing Huang Chun who had just left. It's starting now. In the entire history of the Lu clan's alchemist competitions, I don't think they ever had a grade 1 alchemist as their judge. It's worth the trip even if I get disqualified today. People would be so envious and jealous even if it was just getting disqualified by a grade 1 alchemist. Comma. The group of alchemists discussed among themselves excitedly. Duan Lingtian was speechless when he heard their discussion. Meanwhile, the senior officials from the Lu clan could empathize with them. They would feel the same way if they were in the alchemist's position and participating in the alchemist competition. Soon after, the alchemist competition began. The competition was divided into the preliminary round, semi-final round, and the final round. Half of the participants would be eliminated in the preliminary round. In the semi-finals, there would be 30 participants left after the elimination. The 30 remaining participants would be able to enter the Lu clan. In the finals, the participants would be given their rankings and receive rewards from the Lu clan. In the alchemist competition, regardless of the round, everyone would be refining the same pill. Duan Lingtian as the judge would personally inspect the result. In the past alchemist competitions that Lu clan organized, the participants would only be tested on the purity of the pill. However, it was different for Duan Lingtian. Apart from testing the pill's purity, he was able to see how good the participants' techniques were through the pills and determined who was more outstanding. Duan Lingtian did that during the preliminary round and did encounter any objection. However, somebody was unsatisfied during the semifinals. Elder Duan, it's obvious that the purity of the pill he refined is lesser than mine. Why did he pass while I'm being eliminated? An alchemist pointed at the other alchemist next to him and looked at Duan Lingtian with a dissatisfied expression. Chapter 1071. The alchemist's question to Duan Lingtian instantly created an uproar in the crowd. Somebody actually dares to question a grade 1 alchemist. Everyone, including Shang Quan, had their eyes trained on Duan Lingtian and subsequently the pills that looked exactly alike. The pill that he refined really has higher purity than the other alchemist. Why did Elder Duan eliminate him and let the other person advance to the next round? The participating alchemists were confused. What happened? Apart from them, even the people of Lu clan led by the clan leader, Lu Rui, looked doubtful. Not everyone in the Lu clan was an alchemist. However, they could tell the purity of the pills since they were in an alchemy clan. They could tell the pill from the alchemist who questioned Duan Lingtian had higher purity. The alchemist whom Duan Lingtian accepted to the next round forced a smile on his face as he looked at Duan Lingtian and said, "Elder Duan, judging by the pill's purity, I'm really not as good as him." The alchemist who questioned Duan Lingtian became even more smug after he heard the other alchemist's words. "Elder Duan, I know you're a grade 1 alchemist. I'm far behind you when it comes to medicine refinement, but your ability to judge seems to be..." "Seems to be what?" Duan Lingtian interrupted as he glanced at him. "Do you think you're better than him at medicine refinement just because the pill you refined has higher purity than his?" Perhaps, the alchemist competition that the Lu clan organized is merely a competition of pills purity instead of medicine refinement's level. Duan Lingtian said as he glanced at the people of Lu clan led by the clan leader, Lu Rui. It was obvious he was questioning them. Since we're refining the same pill, naturally we'll judge the medicine refinement's level by its purity, otherwise, how can we judge it? The alchemist who was interrupted by Duan Lingtian said with righteous indignation. "Do all of you think so too?" Duan Lingtian glanced at the participating alchemists before he shifted his eyes to the people from Lu clan. Soon after, he received his answer. Whether it was the participating alchemists or the people from Lu clan, all of them nodded one after another. It was clear all of them had the same thought. "We're interested to know if Elder Duan has other ways to judge the medicine refinement level. Perhaps Elder Duan will surprise us," Lu Rui said with his loud and clear voice. The reason he said that was due to the confidence and fearless expression in Duan Lingtian's eyes. Subconsciously, he believed that Duan Lingtian had other ways to judge the medicine refinement's level. After Lu Rui spoke, Duan Lingtian became the center of attention. "Young master." Even Shang Quan was looking at Duan Lingtian with anticipation. He believed his young master had his own way. "Seems like I'll need to teach all of you a lesson today," Duan Lingtian said calmly before he looked away. If it was someone else who had said that, perhaps he would be torn into pieces as soon as he was done speaking. Since it was Duan Lingtian who said it, they could not wait to hear the rest of his explanation even though they felt skeptical. However, they soon realized Duan Lingtian did not have the intention to explain. "Both of you, refine the pill once again. This time I'm going to teach you a little trick. This little trick will definitely boost the purity of the pill you refined," Duan Lingtian said calmly as he looked at the two alchemists next to him. "When the both of you refine the pill," Duan Lingtian divulged his little trick without hiding it from the public. What he said was heard by everyone loud and clear. It seemed as though he had no qualms about revealing this trick in public at all. "Press our palm on the cauldron, and when the pill comes out of the spigot, create a layer of shield by releasing the pill fire from our palm and make the pill pierce through it." That was the trick Duan Lingtian had revealed. The trick was nothing to Duan Lingtian, but it was new to the other alchemists. "Sure, I'll refine it again following the trick that Elder Duan shared. If the purity of the pill I refined is still higher than his this, what will Elder Duan do?" The dissatisfied alchemist asked as he looked at Duan Lingtian. "He'll be eliminated and you'll advance to the next round if you defeat him," Duan Lingtian said casually. His eyes were calm as though he was certain the dissatisfied alchemist would not be able to defeat the other alchemist. "Elder Duan has such faith in me." The other alchemist's heart jolted. His expression suddenly turned serious. He then took a deep breath and solemnly said to Duan Lingtian, "Elder Duan, I won't let you down. Don't be nervous. Just do what you did earlier. Of course, remember to use the little trick I taught you." Although it won't give a major boost to the purity, the boost is still significant and varies from person to person, Duan Lingtian said. Yes. The alchemist nodded seriously. You may begin, Duan Lingtian said. At this moment, the two alchemists were in high spirits as they began to refine the pill. The pressure increased as everyone watched their refinement process. Each of them wanted to defeat the other in order to advance to the next round. As long as they advanced to the next round, they would be able to join the Lu clan and become a Lu clan's foreign disciple. Time passed by quietly. Soon after, an hour had passed. The alchemist whose pill had lesser purity than the other completed the refinement first. He pressed his palm on the cauldron and forced the pill out of the cauldron. In the meantime, he remembered the little trick Duan Lingtian had imparted earlier. He released pill fire from his palm to create a layer of shield on top of the spigot. Whoosh! A pill shot out and passed through the pill fire on top of the opening before the alchemist grabbed it with his hand. The pill was completed. At this moment, the alchemist whose pill had higher purity than the other and was dissatisfied with Duan Lingtian's judgment followed the other alchemist by completing the refinement and forming the pill. A similar pill appeared in his hands. However, their eyes widened at the same time as a shocked expression appeared on their faces when they looked at each other's pill. How's this possible? No, it's impossible. The alchemist who was dissatisfied earlier turned pale and shook his head continuously. He was unwilling to believe the sight before his eyes. He was unwilling to believe because he discovered the purity of the pill in his hand only had less than 5% of elevation compared to before. Meanwhile, the pill in his opponent's hand had close to 10% of elevation in purity compared to before. An elevation close to 10%. What was that? He had defeated the dissatisfied alchemist. This is too amazing. The other alchemist's eyes lit up. He had an expression of disbelief on his face. He could not believe his eyes. That trick elevated the purity of his pill by 10%. Meanwhile, the elevation of the pill's purity that his opponent refined was less than 5%. Impossible. You must have taught him another trick. That must be it, the dissatisfied alchemist said as he pointed at Duan Lingtian. He was unwilling to give up. I taught him another trick. Duan Lingtian laughed when he heard that. Soon after, his laughter turned into a grin. Why don't you get another alchemist to try as well? Eventually, the alchemists who had advanced to the semi-finals and had yet to be eliminated began to refine pills with the little trick Duan Lingtian taught them. They noticed something odd after successfully refining the pills. Some of them had less than 5% of elevation in purity compared to the pill they refined earlier, while some of them had more than 10% elevation in purity. Now, do you still think I taught him another trick? Duan Lingtian said indifferently to the dissatisfied alchemist as he looked at him. The alchemist's face turned pale, and he was rendered speechless. He knew that he had overthought things. However, the alchemist still could not accept what happened and asked Duan Lingtian somberly, why? Duan Lingtian knew exactly what the alchemist wanted to know. Even the people from Lu clan, including the clan leader, looked confused. It was obvious they wanted to know the answer as well. Pill fire is the key. Duan Lingtian answered when everyone's attention was on him. One must admit his answer did not help with the confusion. The key is the pill fire. That can't be right. I'm a grade 5 alchemist. The pill fire I released is a grade 5 pill fire, however, the pill I refined using the little trick only gave it less than 5% of elevation and purity. Although I'm just a grade 6 alchemist, and the pill fire I released isn't as powerful as yours, the pill I refined using the little trick had 10% elevation and purity. What's this? The alchemists were confused. The elevation of the pill's purity was higher for some of the grade 6 alchemists compared to some grade 5 alchemists. Naturally, the elevation of the pill's purity for some of the grade 6 alchemists were lower than the grade 5 alchemists. It isn't about the pill fire's grade but the pill fire's purity. Usually, the pill fire that's released by alchemists who rose through the ranks too quickly would be rougher and lower in purity. Meanwhile, the pill fire released by those alchemists who learned slowly and steadily would usually be more precise and higher in purity. The little trick I mentioned earlier would boost the latter's pill's purity to the next level, while the boost in purity for the former would be lesser, Duan Lingtian said patiently as he faced the group of people who were looking at him curiously. All of a sudden, the entire place descended into silence as everyone became engrossed in their thoughts. Elder Duan's worthy of being a grade 1 alchemist for figuring out such a trick. Many of them exclaimed one after another after they regained their senses. Chapter 1072. Duan Lingtian looked at the alchemist who doubted him and asked calmly, "Now, do you have any more questions?" If he did not use pill fire to refine the pill during the last step, the pill the alchemist refined would definitely be at a higher level compared to the other alchemist in terms of purity. However, the results would be reversed if they refined the pills using pill fire. Duan Lingtian did not intend to judge the alchemists' abilities based entirely on the purity of their pills. Apart from the pill's purity, he also took the purity of the pill fire into consideration as well. The higher the purity of the pill fire, the more potential the alchemist possessed. He knew that from the rebirth martial emperor's memory. Faced with Duan Lingtian's question, the dissatisfied alchemist nodded at him apologetically with an embarrassed expression on his face before he flew off in defeat. Thank you, Elder Duan. Meanwhile, the other alchemist felt excited since he did not expect to pass the semi-finals and advance to the finals. He had also become a Lu clan's foreign disciple. The participants who went through the semi-finals and entered the finals in the alchemist competition were all accepted as Lu clan's foreign disciples. You don't have to thank me. Your medicine refinement level is good. With your talent, you'll definitely become a grade 3 alchemist in the future if you work hard, Duan Lingtian said as he shook his head. A grade 3 alchemist? Do you really think I'm capable of that? The alchemist asked. His emotion was stirred. He was currently only a grade 6 alchemist. He did not even dare to think about the possibility of becoming a grade 3 alchemist prior to this. That depends on whether you're willing to put in the effort. You should exit the stage and wait for the finals, Duan Lingtian said. Yes. The alchemist retreated respectfully when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Meanwhile, all the eyes that were looking at Duan Lingtian were filled with respect. He was a real grade 1 alchemist. With just a few words, he changed the fate of the alchemist who seemed like he was at the losing end. Due to Duan Lingtian, the alchemist managed to pass the semi-finals and advance to the finals. What was recorded in the handbook our ancestor passed down is true. Grade 1 alchemists are really extraordinary. A Lu clan elder exclaimed. Duan Lingtian's technique had totally convinced him. Of course, are there even any grade 1 alchemists who are not extraordinary in regards to the medicine refinement Dao? Another Lu clan elder said. What Duan Lingtian did earlier did not only earn him the admiration from the alchemists participating in the alchemist competition, it also earned him the admiration from everyone in Lu clan and their clan leader, Lu Rui. Ever since that incident, nobody dared to doubt Duan Lingtian anymore. The alchemist competition's semi-finals ended successfully. Only the 30 most outstanding alchemists remained. However, most of the alchemists who were eliminated did not leave. Instead, they were waiting excitedly for the finals to begin. It was undoubtedly a great opportunity for them to learn. It was rare to be in the presence of so many outstanding alchemists. It was possible they would receive enlightenment from one of the alchemists and deepen their comprehension of the medicine refinement Dao. The finals carried on as planned. The 30 Lu clan's foreign disciples climbed on stage one after another while Duan Lingtian continued his task as the main judge. With Duan Lingtian's grade 1 alchemist identity, the other judges, including Lu Su, stood watching from afar and did not dare to interrupt. Time continued to pass as the 30 alchemists began to refine their pills. Meanwhile, Duan Lingtian commented on the pills each of the alchemists refined. No matter how long or short the comment was, all the alchemists were satisfied with the result. Duan Lingtian's knowledge of the medicine refinement Dao shocked everyone again when he was commenting on the participants' pills. It seems like our Lu clan has hit the jackpot this time. I'm afraid the average grade 1 alchemist is not even worthy of picking up Elder Duan's shoes when it comes to the theory of medicine refinement Dao. The clan leader of Lu clan was a grade 2 alchemist. He could not suppress his emotion after seeing how knowledgeable Duan Lingtian was. His low voice was heard by everyone in the Lu clan, and it stunned them. Clan leader, do you mean even Guild Master Cheng from the Alchemist Guild's main guild in the southern outer land is not as good Elder Duan when it comes to medicine refinement Dao's theory? Lu Yuan stared with his small eyes as shock appeared on his plump face. I've visited Guild Master Cheng a few times for advice, although he's also a grade 1 alchemist, he's not as thorough as Elder Duan in regards to medicine refinement Dao, Lu Rui answered. All of a sudden, everyone in the Lu clan fell silent once again. Naturally, they knew who Guild Master Cheng was. It was the Guild Master of the Alchemist Guild's main guild in the southern outer lands on Cloud Continent. He was a respectable grade 1 alchemist. Ruo Shui River in the Cloud Continent acted as the demarcation line and separated the inner land and the outer land. The northern mountain land, where Lu clan was situated, was located in the southern side of the outer land in Cloud Continent. The area was also called the Southern Outer Land. The Darkin dynasty where Duan Ling Tien was from and the Northern Mountain Land were both located on the Southern Outer Land. Back then, I only know of a grade 1 alchemist in the Southern Outer Land, and that was Guild Master Cheng. It seems like that's no longer the case. Yes, who knew there's such a monstrous grade 1 alchemist like Elder Duan in the Southern Outer Land? I wonder how much younger Elder Duan is compared to Guild Master Cheng. He's young, but his medicine refinement level is high. Moreover, even clan leader who has spoken to Guild Master Cheng before thinks that Guild Master Cheng's not as good as Elder Duan. The Lu clan's elders whispered among themselves. Soon after, their eyes simultaneously landed on the purple silhouette in the distant. That young man had become even more unpredictable in their eyes now. Duan Ling Tien, Lu Bai still wore a big smile on his face. Ever since Duan Ling Tien revealed his grade 1 alchemist identity, Lu Bai had only been smiling apart from feeling shocked. He did not expect Duan Ling Tien, whom he was worried might be killed by Lu clan not long ago, would become the most popular person in the clan in just a blink of an eye. The Lu clan guardian elder, Lu Ji, looked at Lu Rui and asked solemnly, "Clan leader, since you've so much high praise for Elder Duan, do you have the confidence to break through to a grade 1 alchemist with his advice?" Lu Rui, the clan leader of Lu clan, showcased outstanding medicine refinement talent since he was young. He was known as the person most likely to become a grade 1 alchemist within 100 years. It's possible. Lu Rui's eyes were sparkling with anticipation. Gasp, 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 Lu Rui's words caused everyone to gasp. Everyone, including the Lu clan's 3 guardian elders, gasped. Lu Rui's response completely surprised them. Their eyes lit up when they looked at Duan Ling Tien again. They were looking at him as though they were looking at an extremely rare art piece. However, Duan Ling Tien, who was busy inspecting the participating alchemists, did not notice the staring eyes. Soon after, he came out with the 30 rankings for the alchemists. None of the 30 alchemists had any objections regarding the ranking. "Elder Lu Su, I'll hand over the rest to you," Duan Ling Tien said to Lu Su when he was done and returned to Shang Quan's side. Lu Su responded without further delay. He looked at the 30 alchemists and prepared to give out the rewards the Lu clan had promised earlier. However, somebody could not help but ask before Lu Su had a chance to speak. "I wonder if the top 3 participants of the alchemist competition will be getting advice from Elder Duan." Based on the Lu clan's rewards in the past, the top 3 participants in the alchemist competition would get advice from the Lu clan's grade 2 alchemists. Now that Lu clan had a grade 1 alchemist who was knowledgeable in medicine refinement as an interim advisor, it made the top 3 participants excited. The person who asked the question was the participant who ranked second in the alchemist competition. "Being greedy isn't a good thing," Lu Su said as he stared deeply into the alchemist's eyes. However, he did not give a confirmed answer. Instead, he turned around to look at the clan leader, Lu Rui. "Elder Duan's come a long way. I'm sure he's exhausted. Lu Bai, bring Elder Duan and his companion to rest," Lu Rui said to Lu Bai. He seemed unaware of Lu Su's gaze that was directed at him. "Yes," Lu Bai responded respectfully before he looked at Duan Ling Tien and Shang Quan. "Shang Quan, let's go," Duan Ling Tien said to Shang Quan and left with Lu Bai with the ice coffin in tow. He looked at everyone from the Lu clan before he left. He nodded and smiled at them as a sign of respect. All the Lu clan's senior officials, including the 3 guardian elders, smiled in response to Duan Ling Tien. They did not dare to delay any further. This Elder Duan was like a precious gem to them. A gem that could help them produce another grade 1 alchemist in the Lu clan. Duan Ling Tien's departure disappointed the top 3 alchemists in the alchemist competition. Work hard after joining the Lu clan, and fight your way to stand out in the clan. At that time, you might be able to receive Elder Duan's advice, Lu Rui said calmly as he looked at the 30 Lu clan's foreign disciples. What Lu Rui said made the 30 alchemists' eyes brighten and filled their faces with anticipation. However, the senior officials in Lu clan knew very well that with Elder Duan's medicine refinement level that high enough to even advise their clan leader, even the other grade 2 alchemists in Lu clan would have to wait for their turn for Elder Duan's advice. Apart from a few grade 2 alchemists, there was still a group of grade 3 alchemists in the Lu clan. It was more difficult than aiming for the sky for those little fellows who had just joined Lu clan to receive advice from Elder Duan. Chapter 1073, When they entered the Lu clan's estate, Lu Bai's eyes unintentionally fell on the ice coffin next to Duan Ling Tien. It was his first time seeing the face of the lady who lay in the ice coffin. He had a deep impression of the red-clad lady. She was the lady who was with Duan Lingtian and his life-savior when he was almost killed back then. He was surprised by how beautiful the lady was at that time. He had never seen such a beautiful lady in the northern mountain land. She's the daughter of your savior. Duan Lingtian's eyes were filled with fondness when he looked at Feng Tianwu who lay in the ice coffin. My savior's daughter. Lu Bai's expression changed slightly. What happened to her? At this moment, Lu Bai began to closely observe Feng Tianwu who was lying in the ice coffin. Soon after, he realized that Feng Tianwu's body still possessed a strong life breath. She's in a deep sleep. Her soul's been severed, so she's in a coma. Duan Lingtian sighed. Lu Bai nodded solemnly. However, Duan Lingtian was not sure if he understood the situation. Young master. At this moment, Shang Quan, who was following by Duan Lingtian's side, said to him respectfully, I remember you said Miss Tianwu would wake up as long as you find some rare and precious materials. Lu clan has existed for 10,000 years, perhaps they have the precious materials that will help wake Miss Tianwu. Shang Quan looked at Lu Bai anticipatively after he finished his sentence. Shang Quan's words jolted Duan Lingtian. That's right. Why didn't I think about that earlier? Lu clan was a clan that had existed for 10,000 years. On the Cloud Continent, apart from the two ancient clans that were on top in the Cloud Continent, there were very few forces that still existed after 10,000 years. Naturally, Duan Lingtian knew that very well. It did not occur to him because his head was occupied with all the impossibilities. Since he inherited the rebirth Martial Emperor's memory, he knew the precious materials were extremely rare. It was rare on the Cloud Continent, and there was none in the great treasure the rebirth Martial Emperor left behind. Due to that, he had subconsciously thought it was impossible to find the precious materials in the outer land since there might not be any even in the inner land. Lu Bai, does the Lu clan have any collection of soul-fixing root and soul-stabilizing grass? Duan Lingtian asked urgently as he looked at Lu Bai. Although he was uncertain if Lu clan possessed the two precious materials that could help fix Feng Tianwu's soul, he decided to ask anyway. He could not miss any opportunities. No matter what, Lu clan had existed for 10,000 years. They might have a collection of the two precious materials. Soul-fixing root, soul-stabilizing grass. Lu Bai shook his head when he heard Duan Lingtian's question. It's my first time hearing about these two items. Why don't I help you settle down in your accommodation first? After your rest, I'll take you to the clan leader. Perhaps the clan leader might know something about it, Lu Bai suggested. Duan Lingtian nodded. There was a hint of hope in his eyes. If Lu clan really possessed the soul-fixing root and soul-stabilizing grass, he would be able to concoct a potion to fix Tianwu's severed soul and wake her up. I hope I'll get lucky, Duan Lingtian thought to himself. No matter if it was the soul-fixing root or the soul-stabilizing grass, both of them were rare and precious materials on the Cloud Continent. Even the rebirth Martial Emperor had only seen it a few times. Soon after, Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan arrived at the buildings on the east side of the Lu clan's estate under Lu Bai's lead. They arrived outside of an isolated mansion surrounded by other mansions. Second young master. Outside the spacious mansion, a pretty servant stood there and bowed to Lu Bai respectfully. Lu Bai nodded to the servant and said solemnly, from today onward, Elder Duan will be staying here. I'll send a few more people here later, please treat Elder Duan well. If Elder Duan isn't satisfied with your performance, I can't afford to take the blame from the clan leader. Do you understand? Lu Bai's words managed to successfully scare the servant standing at the entrance of the mansion. Elder Duan. The servant's eyes darted to Duan Lingtian before it finally settled on Shang Quan. In her opinion, this older man looked more like an elder. Then I won't disturb the both of you. Lu Bai smiled and nodded at Duan Lingtian and Shang before he said, when the both of you are well rested, just get her to bring both of you to the mansion I'm living in. Sure, Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan both nodded. After Lu Bai left, the servant heaved a sigh of relief as though her burden had been lifted. She then smiled as she looked at Shang Quan. Nice meeting you, Elder Duan. My name's Xiao Yun. I'll be taking care of your daily necessities from today onward. Shang Quan felt awkward. Girl, you're mistaken, my young master's Elder Duan, Shang Quan said in embarrassment and looked at Duan Lingtian. Ah, servant Xiao Yun was surprised. She then began to observe Duan Lingtian as she revealed an expression of disbelief on her beautiful face. She mumbled, are you really Elder Duan? Duan Lingtian was amused by servant Xiao Yun and asked jokingly, "What? I don't look like one." "No, no, Elder Duan, I just thought it's a little unbelievable. Our Lu clan has never had any elders as young as you," servant Xiao Yun said immediately. She proceeded to observe Duan Lingtian curiously. It was as though she was trying to figure out what was special about Duan Lingtian, and how he was able to become a Lu clan's foreign elder. Although she was only a servant, she knew everything about the Lu clan. Unless a Lu clan's foreign disciple was very capable, it was definitely impossible for them to become an elder. "Elder Duan, please come in." Soon after, servant Xiao Yun regained her senses and welcomed Duan Lingtian into the mansion behind her. She arranged accommodation for Duan Lingtian in a spacious room. The room was big and furnished with all the necessary furniture. It was the master bedroom of the mansion. Bang! When Duan Lingtian lifted his arm, the ice coffin followed him into the room and landed on a table in the room sturdily. "So beautiful." Servant Xiao Yun noticed the ice coffin that had been following Duan Lingtian from the beginning. She only had the chance to look at it properly now. Soon after, she noticed the red-clad lady lying in the ice coffin. She could not help but feel a little embarrassed when she saw the red-clad lady's beautiful face. "If there's nothing else, all of you can dismiss yourselves, I would like to take a rest," Duan Lingtian said. "Yes, young master," Shang Quan said respectfully and looked at servant Xiao Yun. "Girl, we should leave now." Servant Xiao Yun regained her senses and looked away from the red-clad lady lying in the ice coffin unwillingly. She then followed Shang Quan out of the room. Shang Quan closed the door for Duan Lingtian. "Uncle, how should I address you?" Servant Xiao Yun looked at Shang Quan. Shang Quan said in a cold manner. "Uncle Shang Quan, do you know who is that lady lying in the ice coffin next to Elder Duan?" "It's my first time seeing such a beautiful lady," servant Xiao Yun asked curiously. "She's young master's lady," Shang Quan sighed. He noticed that servant Xiao Yun was about to ask another question, so he quickly said, "All right, girl. Stop asking so many questions, please arrange a room for me as well." After Shang Quan and servant Xiao Yun left the master bedroom, Duan Lingtian went to the ice coffin and caressed it softly. He looked into the ice coffin and gently stared at Feng Tianwu who was lying in there. "Tianwu, rest well, big brother Duan will wake you up very soon, I won't let you wait for long," Duan Lingtian said softly, his voice was extremely gently. A while later, Duan Lingtian changed his clothes and rested on the bed. He fell asleep quickly. It had been a long time since he had a good rest like this. On the other side, Shang Quan settled down in his room following servant Xiao Yun's arrangement. After getting Shang Quan settled in, servant Xiao Yun's face was filled with doubts. Where did Elder Duan come from? Judging from his age, he shouldn't be much older than I am. That's not right. Soon after, servant Xiao Yun seemed to recall something as her beautiful face faintly changed. In the Lu clan, those who have the capability to become foreign elders are either someone with powerful ability or some outstanding alchemist. If Elder Duan's human, judging by his age, it's impossible that he has a powerful ability. It's even more impossible for him to be an alchemist and our Lu clan's foreign elder. That means, he's a demon. A powerful demon. Sweat was dripping down her forehead as she thought about this. Never in her life had she met or interacted with a demon before. "I heard that demons have strange temper, some of them would even transform back to their original appearance to eat a man alive." Servant Xiao Yun began to shiver as she thought about this. "Sister Xiao Yun." All of a sudden, an Oriole-like voice that came from outside the mansion snapped servant Xiao Yun out of her thoughts. She walked out of the mansion after wiping the cold sweat off her face. She saw 6 servants walking to her as soon as she stepped out of the mansion entrance. Second young master asked all of you to come. As Lu clan's servants, they knew each other very well. Xiao Yun's eyes were wide open from the shock when she saw the 6 servants. From what she knew, 2 to 3 servants at the most would be relegated to the mansions the elders were staying. Even the mansion the clan leader was living in only had 5 servants. However, there were a total of 7 servants, including her, just to serve the foreign elder. Who's that Elder Duan? At this moment, servant Xiao Yun faintly felt that something was not quite right. Even if that Elder Duan was a demon monarch powerhouse, did he deserve such an over-the-top treatment? Sister Xiao Yun, you'll be our big boss from today onward, you're really lucky to be given such a wonderful job. The 6 servants who just arrived looked at servant Xiao Yun enviously. It caused servant Xiao Yun to feel even more confused. Chapter 1074. Wonderful job. Servant Xiaoyun knitted her brows as she asked, is there anything you all know? Or, perhaps, you've heard of that young Elder Duan? Seriously, Sister Xiaoyun, you did not hear about Elder Duan? The 6 servants stared at Xiaoyun as though she was behaving oddly. Is it weird? Seeing the response of these 6 people, Xiaoyun could not help but feel shocked. Sister Xiaoyun, I think the news about Elder Duan has already spread in the entire Lu clan. You're serving Elder Duan, and you're closest to the moon, but you actually know nothing about this. The 6 servants shook their heads as they sighed. They felt that Xiaoyun was lacking in regards to keeping up with the current news. Stop with the suspense, the 6 of you. Xiaoyun smiled wryly. The 6 servants did not continue with their nonsense any longer. They chattered animatedly as they told her the story about how Elder Duan became the Lu clan's elder the moment he arrived at the Lu clan. When Elder Duan first arrived at the Lu clan, he killed Elder Lu Jiao. And he killed the 3rd young master as well. When she heard about young Elder Duan's action, how the 2 Lu clan's guardian elders appeared, and wanted to kill him, Xiaoyun broke out in cold sweat on his behalf. However, she knew it ended well for Elder Duan. Otherwise, she would not have the opportunity to serve Elder Duan at all. A grade 1 alchemist. Xiaoyun immediately narrowed her eyes when she heard about young Elder Duan demonstrating the grade 1 pill fire and revealing his identity as a grade 1 alchemist. An alchemist, a grade 1 alchemist on top of that. Then, does this mean that Elder Duan is not a demon? But, how is it possible that he, a mere human being, is an honorable grade 1 alchemist and also possess enough strength to kill Elder Lu Jiao who was at the 8th level void transformation stage? Xiaoyun muttered to herself. Although her voice was not loud, it was still clearly heard by the other 6 servants. Sister Xiaoyun, we wouldn't believe that such a human exists as well if it was before. However, the facts are in front of our faces, forcing us to believe it. That's right, Sister Xiaoyun. Right now, the entire Lu clan is busy discussing Elder Duan. They are all saying he's a rare monster in Cloud Continent. Apart from that, some people even said that Elder Duan is a gift from God to the Lu clan. After almost 1,000 years, there's finally a grade 1 alchemist in our Lu clan. Once this news spread out, it would take the entire northern mountain land, possibly even half of the southern outer land, by surprise. The 6 servants chatted animatedly, excitement could be heard in their voices. Although they were only servants, they could also be considered as half members of the Lu clan and shared the same pride as the Lu clan. I can't believe Elder Duan is actually this. The moment she recalled the purple-clad young man who did not even have a bit of haughty air around him, and how she acted so casually in front of him, servant Xiaoyun felt chills running down her spine. The purple-clad young man was actually such an amazing person. Not only was his martial strength terrifying, but he was a grade 1 alchemist as well. Soon after, the 6 new servants asked Xiaoyun impatiently, Sister Xiaoyun, how's that Elder Duan? Is he easygoing? Elder Duan is very good, very easygoing, Xiaoyun replied. Duan Lingtian did not know how long he slept and gradually woke up. He cast a glance at the ice coffin on the table nearby before he climbed out of bed. After cleaning up, he changed into a new set of clothes and walked out of the room. Elder Duan, Elder Duan. The moment Duan Lingtian opened the room door and walked out, 2 melodious voices resonated by his ears. Only then did he realize there were servants standing on both sides of his room door. Good morning. Duan Lingtian nodded his head in reply but smiled wryly in his heart. That Lu Bai, he really found a couple more servants for me. At the same time, Duan Lingtian saw there were few more servants who were busy working in the residence he currently lived in. Elder Duan, I've brought some people to help you clean the room. Soon after, Duan Lingtian saw servant Xiaoyun walking to him. After greeting him, the 2 servants who were brought here entered his room and began to clean up. Naturally, it was mainly to sweep and clean the dust. When the 3 servants finally came out, the entire room was spotless. Elder Duan, is there anything else you would like us to do? After the servant Xiaoyun brought the servants out, she looked at Duan Lingtian respectfully and waited for further instructions. At this time, Duan Lingtian also noticed servant Xiaoyun's manner when she spoke to him had undergone a complete change compared to when he first arrived. The casual manner from the past was replaced with formality now. Xiaoyun, you don't have to be so formal. Just be as casual as before, Duan Lingtian said. I don't dare to, servant Xiaoyun replied with her head lowered. What a joke. Previously, she did not know about Elder Duan's background. Now that she found out about his background, she would not dare to act casually even if her bravery was increased 100 times. When Duan Lingtian saw this, he felt a little helpless even though he did not pursue the matter further. He said nonchalantly, "Go and invite the second young master here." "Yes," servant Xiao Yun replied before she left. As for the other two servants, they returned to stand like a statue at the sides of Duan Lingtian's room door. Duan Lingtian shook his head and strode out to look for Shang Quan. He left the ice coffin inside the room. This was the Northern Mountains Lu clan, one of the two strongest forces in the Northern Mountain land. In his opinion, nobody would dare to seek trouble here. Due to this reason, he deemed it safe to leave the ice coffin in the room. Moreover, he would be staying in the Lu clan for a short period of time. Led by the servant, Duan Lingtian finally found Shang Quan in the backyard of the residence in no time at all. He saw Shang Quan practicing his sword skill, beads of sweat were dripping from his forehead. Shang Quan. Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly when he saw Shang Quan working so hard. Naturally, he knew the reason why Shang Quan was working so hard. It was to get stronger so he could serve and assist him. It was also because he did not want to be a burden to Duan Lingtian. "Young master." Shang Quan halted his movement when he saw Duan Lingtian. "Shang Quan, how much did you comprehend from the message contained in the word, sword?" Duan Lingtian smiled. The word, sword, Duan Lingtian spoke of was none other than the inscription left behind by a man who called himself the Sword Saint in the deep canyon of the mountains located near Shang Quan's village in the Azure Forest Imperial Kingdom. That word, sword, contained a terrifying amount of sword art knowledge. According to Duan Lingtian's speculation, even if he only comprehended 1% of the sword art knowledge contained in the word, sword, he would be free to do whatever he liked in the Cloud Continent. This was something he discovered not too long ago. He recently developed further understanding of the word, sword, he memorized. Due to that reason, he was able to raise his sword concept to the 8th level advanced sword concept in one fell swoop. Although he currently did not have any elevation in other areas, he had an additional strength of 300 ancient horned dragons due to the elevation of his sword concept. With just his quasi-royal grade spirit sword, he could exert the strength of 3,800 ancient horned dragons if he unleashed his full strength. This was not counting the earth energy he could borrow using his earth concept. Due to this reason, he was able to kill that Lu Jiao, the Lu clan's elder who was at the 8th level void transformation, with just one blow. "Young master, I'm dumb. I've not made any progress at all." Shang Quan smiled wryly with a long face. "Don't worry, things will come in their own time. Who knows, you might have an epiphany one day and comprehend it with just a snap of the fingers," Duan Lingtian reassured him. However, the dejected look on Shang Quan's face showed that his reassurance did not work. Duan Lingtian. At this moment, a loud and familiar voice echoed in the air, breaking the silence. Lu Bai. The person who came was none other than Lu Bai, the Lu clan's second young master. Without beating around the bush, Duan Lingtian immediately brought up the main topic. "Lu Bai, I want to see the clan leader. When you told me about the soul-fixing root and the soul-stabilizing grass or something, I've already told the clan leader about it. You should be able to find out the results when you see the clan leader." Lu Bai knew the main purpose Duan Lingtian wanted to see the clan leader of the Lu clan, so he continued bluntly, "The two precious materials you mentioned sound like medicinal materials judging from their names. We have countless rare medicinal materials in the Lu clan's collection. Who knows, the things you're looking for might be in there as well." "I really hope so." Duan Lingtian nodded before turning to look at Shang Quan. "Zhang Quan, do you want to come along?" "Young master, I won't come along. I still want to stay and cultivate for a while. Moreover, I can look after Miss Tian Wu as well if I stay," Shang Quan replied. "All right." Duan Lingtian nodded and proceeded to follow Lu Bai to see Lu Rui, the clan leader of Lu clan. The residence that Lu Rui lived in was not far from Duan Lingtian's residence. In fact, even Lu Bai's home was not far as well. The east side of our Lu clan's residence is occupied by the high officials and the lineal disciples of our clan. The majestic residence in front is the clan leader's residence, Lu Bai explained as he pointed ahead. The moment Duan Lingtian heard his words, he glanced at it. An imposing and majestic residence stood in the distance. It stood out among all the surrounding residences and was very eye-catching. Duan Lingtian began to frown as they continued to walk forward. He could clearly sense someone staring fixedly at him from the distance. When he looked over in the direction, he saw a man approaching his middle age walking toward him, and Lu Bai as an old man trailed behind him. Humph! Duan Lingtian heard Lu Bai's snort. It was apparent the snort was meant for the strangers. Lu Bai, why didn't you greet your big brother when you see him? At this moment, the young man TL note. It seems like author's definition of a young man is someone below the age of 50, who was dressed in grey, arrived in front of Duan Lingtian and Lu Bai. His gaze shifted away from Duan Lingtian to Lu Bai. Are we that close? Lu Bai replied with disdain as he looked coldly at the grey-clad young man. Lu Bai, is there any misunderstanding between us? The smile on the grey-clad young man's face remained on his face from the beginning until the end, even though Lu Bai did not bother with showing him a pleasant expression. Duan Lingtian could not help but feel amazed by his good temper. Chapter 1075. Duan Lingtian raised a brow when a pang of realization suddenly dawned on him. Big brother, that grey-clad young man called himself Big Brother in front of Lu Bai. Lu Song. Soon after, Duan Lingtian put the puzzles together and guessed the identity of this grey-clad young man. In the Lu clan, the only person who could address himself as Big Brother in front of Lu Bai could only be Lu Song, the first young master of the Lu clan. He was also Lu Bai's sworn enemy, the stumbling block that hindered Lu Bai from becoming the next clan leader of Lu clan. Moreover, I heard from others that Lu Wai, the third young master whom I killed, was Lu Song's younger blood brother. Blood brother. That meant they were siblings with the same parents. The gaze he used to look at Lu Song was instantly filled with a hint of vigilance. So, this must be Elder Duan. Lu Song did not get angry even when he saw Lu Bai ignoring him. Soon after, he shifted his attention to Duan Lingtian as a dazzling smile appeared on his face. However, the dazzling smile on Lu Song's face was like an eyesore to Duan Lingtian. This Lu Song is not that close with Lu Wai, his blood brother. Duan Lingtian asked Lu Bai through his voice transmission as he ignored Lu Song. Their parents died when they were young. Both of them supported each other ever since then. Naturally, they had an excellent relationship with each other. In addition to being his elder brother, Lu Song also played the role of father to Lu Wai. He was both brother and father to him. Lu Bai replied through voice transmission. Duan Lingtian immediately felt chills running down his spine. He did not believe Lu Song did not know about the fact that he had killed Lu Wai. However, Lu Song could still smile in front of him. This made him feel as though there was a cold breeze blowing on his back. This Lu Song is an extremely dangerous person. Duan Lingtian was almost certain about this. Being able to remain nonchalant in front of an enemy who had just murdered one's own brother was not something ordinary people could do. One must have some ulterior motive to be able to that. Duan Lingtian might not have paid Lu Song any attention if Lu Song tried to kill him the moment he laid eyes on him. However, Lu Song's actions made him feel dread from the bottom of his heart. An enemy who was up front was not terrifying, unlike an enemy in the dark. Who are you? Duan Lingtian asked knowingly as he looked at Lu Song. I'm Lu Song. Lu Song's smile remained on his face as he replied Duan Lingtian in a polite manner. Lu Song, the Lu clan's first young master. Duan Lingtian pretended to be surprised. Yes. Lu Song nodded before he added, although I'm the first young master of the Lu clan, I'm nothing in front of you, Elder Duan, after all, you're a grade 1 alchemist. Even the clan leader and the 3 guardian elders must show respect to you. Lu Song's face was filled with modesty when he spoke. Duan Lingtian did not pay much attention to Lu Song's flattery. He looked at Lu Song as he asked, I heard that Lu Wai, the Lu clan's third young master, was your younger blood brother. The moment the words left his mouth, his eyes narrowed as he stared at Lu Song. His gaze was so sharp that it was as though it could pierce through everything. At the same time, he extended his spiritual energy out as well. Yes. Lu Song nodded his head. The smile on his face brightened instantly. He did not seem angry that Duan Lingtian mentioned Lu Wai. Do you know I killed him? Duan Lingtian asked again. When he asked this question, his heart jolted in surprise. This was because he noticed that when he mentioned Lu Wai, both his eyes and spiritual energy did not detect any fluctuations in Lu Song's emotions at all. Not even a tiny bit. What did this mean? Either Lu Song did not care about Lu Wai's life and death, or he could perfectly conceal his emotion. It did not matter if it was the former. However, Lu Song was really terrifying if it was the latter. Through the conversation he had with Lu Song via voice transmission, He concluded the former was impossible and only the latter was plausible. This caused chills to run down his spine. From what he could see, Lu Song was like a poisonous snake that could easily adapt to his surrounding environment. He could perfectly conceal himself. Such a poisonous snake was no doubt extremely dangerous, even being extremely cautious was not enough to defend against it effectively. Once it was provoked, it would kill without any warning. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian felt the spiritual energy he had extended out suddenly quivered. At this moment, Duan Lingtian noticed there was an obvious and abnormal fluctuation in Lu Song's emotion after his words left his mouth. The fluctuation in his emotion was very small, and it disappeared as soon as it appeared. However, his spiritual energy's keen sense was able to detect it clearly. There was a hint of bloodthirsty killing intent in the emotional fluctuation. I know. However, I'd like to thank you, Elder Duan, for helping us to thin the clan. With Lu Wei's temper, he would have eventually met with a mishap. Being able to die in your hand, Elder Duan, is also a kind of blessing. Lu Song nodded with a smile on his face. However, Duan Lingtian felt chills running down his spine when he saw the smile. It was all thanks to his spiritual energy that he noticed Lu Song's emotional fluctuation. Otherwise, he would have been deceived by him if he only looked at him from the surface. Then, I guess, I must have unintentionally done a good deed. However, you don't have to thank me. I barely even lifted a finger, Duan Lingtian replied calmly as he looked at Lu Song nonchalantly. Kid, you're looking for death. At this moment, the eyes of the old man standing behind Lu Song gleamed coldly as his aura locked on Duan Lingtian. He stepped forward and attempted to attack Duan Lingtian. Whoosh! However, he was blocked by Lu Song's outstretched hand before he could even attack. Elder Duan, I'm sorry. Elder Guan had a close relationship with Lu Wei, so I hope you'll excuse him for his transgression, Lu Song said apologetically. Duan Lingtian did not look at Lu Song even when he spoke. Instead, his eyes were focused on the old man standing behind Lu Song. The old man glaring at him had a head of white hair and white brows. At this moment, a contemplative look appeared on Duan Lingtian's face. Interesting. Duan Lingtian looked at the old man intensely before he shifted his gaze away. He did not pay any attention to Lu Song as he left with Lu Bai after motioning to him. He left Lu Song and the old man behind him standing on the same spot as they watched Duan Lingtian and Lu Bai's silhouettes that were slowly disappearing. The old man stared at the purple figure that was disappearing with an enraged face as he said in a deep voice, "Young master. You shouldn't have blocked me. I'm certain I'm able to kill him to avenge little young master." And then, at this moment, the dazzling smile on Lu Song's face had also disappeared and was replaced by coldness. Then, the old man became speechless when he heard this. If you kill him, there's no way you'll be able to stay alive. Even if you flee, you're destined to go into exile. At that time, what should I do? Or, do you intend to have me go into exile with you? Lu Song enunciated each word carefully and made the old man speechless. Exactly. If he killed Duan Lingtian, he could go into exile to flee the group of enraged Lu clan's senior officials. However, the young master would be burdened by him. After all, each of his action represented his young master, Lu Song. If you kill him, you'll either die or you'll have to flee, and I'll lose my chance at becoming the clan leader of Lu clan even if I'm allowed to stay here. The Lu clan will never allow a person who doesn't care about the clan's interest to become the clan leader. You know this very well, Lu Song replied in a deep voice. If he allowed this old man to kill Duan Lingtian, the Lu clan's high officials would definitely be against him and feel that he did not care about the interest of Lu clan even if the Lu clan did not punish him. Duan Lingtian was a grade 1 alchemist and the first interim elder of the Lu clan. If he was killed, it would greatly damage Lu clan's interest. Young master, then what about the little young master's revenge? Are we not going to avenge him? The old man asked with an enraged look. Not avenge him? How's that possible? That's my younger blood brother, for goodness sake. The younger brother that I brought up. Lu Song's eyes gleamed icily before it returned to normal. The slightly wretched expression turned calm again as he proclaimed, however, we can't act recklessly when it comes to this matter. We need to give this matter further thought. The old man's eyes lit up when he heard this, and he replied respectfully, I'll listen to you, young master. Meanwhile, Duan Lingtian and Lu Bai were fast approaching the residence of Lu Rui, the clan leader of Lu clan. In the span of a dozen breaths, they would arrive at the residence in front. Duan Lingtian, you must be more cautious against that Lu Song. That Lu Song is a wolf in disguise. He'll say one thing but act differently in the dark. You killed his younger blood brother. It's impossible for him to be so tolerant and accepting of it. He won't give up so easily. Lu Bai reminded Duan Lingtian solemnly as he looked at him. Duan Lingtian nodded. Even without Lu Bai's reminder, he already knew about it. Lu Bai, do you know the background of the old man standing behind Lu Song? Soon after, Duan Lingtian recalled the old man standing behind Lu Song who attempted to attack him. I only know that the old man's surname is Guan, and everyone addressed him as Elder Guan. As for his background, I heard that he was a servant of Lu Song's grandfather. Due to his impressive innate talent, he later became a Lu clan's secondary disciple. After the death of Lu Song's grandfather, he continued to follow Lu Song's father. And after the death of both Lu Song's parents, he followed the two brothers, Lu Song and Lu Wai, and took care of them. It's said that the old man has already entered the 9th level void transformation stage and is not far from entering the peak of the void. His strength is much stronger compared to many elders in our Lu clan. Lu Bai revealed everything he knew. 9th level void transformation stage. When Duan Lingtian heard Lu Bai's words, he raised a brow as his heart jolted. That old man really concealed himself well. He's obviously a martial monarch, but he actually said he's only at the 9th level void transformation stage. Earlier, when that old man's aura was locked on him to attack him, he had extended his spiritual energy out to probe the old man's cultivation. However, it was as though his spiritual energy had met a bale of cotton and disappeared without a trace the moment it went near the old man. At that time, he knew the old man was a martial monarch. Chapter 1076 Endless Fantasy Translation. However, the old man was at most a first-stage martial monarch. Through the memory of the rebirth martial emperor's 2 reincarnations, Duan Lingtian could roughly discern this. Lu Bai was confused when he saw Duan Lingtian suddenly halted his movement. Lu Bai came to a stop as well and asked curiously, why? Is something wrong? Nothing's wrong. When Duan Lingtian heard Lu Bai's words, he returned to his senses and shook his head. He decided not to reveal his discovery to Lu Bai. If Lu Bai knew Lu Song had a martial monarch following him, he would definitely be unhappy. After all, he had to get rid of this stumbling block, Lu Song, if he wanted the position of the next clan leader of Lu clan. He might feel dejected if he knew there was a martial monarch protecting Lu Song. Lu Bai did not continue to press the matter even though he was puzzled when he saw Duan Lingtian still looked contemplative even after he regained his senses. He could see Duan Lingtian was unwilling to say anything, so he did not intend to force Duan Lingtian to say it out loud. Soon after, Duan Lingtian entered the magnificent and tall mansion before he walked into the main hall of the residence under Lu Bai's guidance. There was already somebody waiting in the main hall. It was Lu Rui, the clan leader of Lu clan. Clan leader, Duan Lingtian greeted Lu Rui with a smile. He did not bow like Lu Bai did. Lu Rui would definitely be unhappy if someone else behaved that way. However, this person was none other than Duan Lingtian. Not only did he feel it was justified for him to act that way, he even smiled as he responded, Elder Duan. Elder Duan, I've read through a few ancient books and finally found some text records about the 2 medicinal materials you're looking for. These 2 days, I've searched many times in our Lu clan's treasure vault and finally found a few medicinal materials similar to their characteristics. I just don't know if they are what you're looking for. Lu Rui did not beat around the bush. A few. Duan Lingtian's eyes brightened instantly when he heard Lu Rui's words. He asked urgently, Clan leader, I wonder if it's possible for you to show me those few medicinal materials so I can identify them. There was a hint of excitement in Duan Lingtian's words. In his opinion, there was a high chance the materials might be among the medicinal materials Lu Rui found since there were a few of them. Of course, Lu Rui lifted his hand and took out 7 types of medicinal materials. 3 of them were root-shaped herbs that looked like some variations of a ginseng. The other 4 medicinal material were leaf-shaped herbs. Elder Duan, have a Lu, huh? They're not what you're looking for. Lu Rui was about to hand over the 7 medicinal materials to Duan Lingtian when he lifted his head and saw Duan Lingtian sighed in disappointment. He knew what his expression meant. Exactly. Duan Lingtian nodded. With a wry smile, he said, there's no soul-fixing root and soul-stabilizing grass among these medicinal materials. However, I would still like to thank clan leader for going to so much trouble for me. Duan Lingtian showed an expression of gratitude. You flatter me, Elder Duan, Lu Rui replied. My understanding about these soul-fixing root and soul-stabilizing grass is only limited to the rough text record in the ancient books. Even if I see them, I might not be able to recognize them. There are still a few medicinal materials that match the descriptions of the two precious treasures in the text records in our Lu clan's treasure vault, but I didn't bring them out. Perhaps, you'd like to make a trip with me to the treasure vault and have a look at them yourself, Elder Duan. Lu Rui suggested in the end. Then, I must thank you in advance, clan leader. Duan Lingtian's reply left no room for doubts that he accepted the offer of going to the Lu clan's treasure vault to have a look at the medicinal materials with Lu Rui to see if the things he was searching for was there. Duan Lingtoin followed Lu Rui and left the residence. Meanwhile, Lu Bai did not follow them and went back to his residence. The Lu clan's treasure vault was located in the north of the Lu clan's residence. There were 3 layers of inner and outer protections in the surroundings. They were also covered with inscription formations, and some of them were killing formations that were quite powerful. The Lu clan's treasure vault was a palace shrouded with many inscription formations. There was only one entrance, and it was personally guarded by an elderly man. Elder Duan, clan leader, the elderly man greeted them enthusiastically even though he was surprised by their appearance. Elder Ji, Duan Lingtian smiled in response. The old man in front of him was no stranger to him. It was none other than Lu Ji, one of the 3 major guardian elders of the Lu clan whom he had met a few days ago. He was a powerful martial monarch. Elder Ji, I brought Elder Duan here to search for some medicinal materials, Lu Rui told Lu Ji. Lu Ji nodded. With a raise of his hand, a gentle energy extended out and activated an inscription formation at the entrance of the Lu clan's treasure vault. See crack. At the same time, the gate to the treasure vault opened widely on its own. Duan Lingtian and Lu Rui walked into the treasure vault together. The first thing that entered their sights was a dazzling 7-colored light that was emitted by the mountainous piles of jewelry. The light from outside shone on them and caused them to radiate beautiful lights. Some of the huge pearls were still shining brilliantly even after the light disappeared. It illuminated the entire treasure vault and made it even more eye-catching. Luminous pearl. Duan Lingtian raised his brows. You can just take these things if you're interested in them, Elder Duan, Lu Rui said bluntly. Perhaps, it was because he saw Duan Lingtian's eyes were attracted by the pile of jewels. To a clan like the Northern Mountains Lu clan, these jewels that were piled up like mountains were just ordinary ornaments that had little value. I'll just have a look. Duan Lingtian shook his head, showing disinterest toward the jewels. Duan Lingtian looked around and did not see any medicinal materials. For a moment, he felt perplexed as he looked at Lu Rui and asked curiously, Clan leader, where are the medicinal materials? The medicinal materials are inside, Lu Rui replied as he continued to lead the way. Apart from being one of the 2 strongest clans in the northern mountain land, the Lu clan was also an alchemist clan. For an alchemist, the most valuable thing, apart from a cauldron, was none other than the medicinal materials needed to refine pills. Due to this reason, the medicinal materials were the most valuable treasure for the Lu clan, particularly those rare medicinal materials. During Duan Lingtian's journey from the place where the jewels were stored to the place the medicinal materials were stored, he passed through a few other places that stored treasures like ancient books, concept fragments, and spirit weapons. It's in here. When Lu Rui switched on a gear, the stone door before them began to rise. In the next instance, Duan Lingtian could smell a strong medicinal fragrance coming from inside that rapidly filled his nostrils. For a moment, his body felt light, and he felt dizzy. It was as though he had consumed some elixir or pills. After a period of time, he finally returned to his senses. After you, Elder Duan. Lu Rui motioned to Duan Lingtian to enter the spacious side palace behind the stone door. There were many medicinal materials stored in the side palace. It was not possible to look at all of them with just a glance. Heart illuminating grass, dancing butterfly flower, scar diminishing stalk, look at all these rare medicinal materials. Duan Lingtian exclaimed in excitement. He was attracted by many of the medicinal materials in the side palace. Although these medicinal materials were not the soul-fixing root or the soul-stabilizing grass he was desperately looking for, they were still medicinal materials that were extremely rare. Lu Rui, who was standing at the side, was not surprised by Duan Lingtian's loss of composure. He could still remember when he first entered this place. He was a lot older than Elder Duan, but he was not as composed as him. He stood rooted the spot back when he saw the pile of rare medicinal materials. In the end, it was the previous clan leader who gave him a good slap to wake him up from his stupor. There were so many medicinal materials here. It would take him a few days at least if he really had to search through the medicinal materials one by one. He felt his head aching when he thought of this and quickly asked Lu Rui, clan leader, where are the medicinal materials that you spoke of earlier? He could only hope that Lu Rui had already placed those medicinal materials to the side so that he could choose from them directly. I've already asked for someone to separate and place those medicinal materials to the side, Lu Rui answered as he pointed to a corner in the side palace. The moment Duan Lingtian heard this, he felt relieved and quickly went to the corner of the side palace and pulled up the dust-proof cloth covering the pile of medicinal materials. After the dust-proof cloth was pulled up, Duan Lingtian's eyes brightened suddenly. Several dozens of different kinds of medicinal materials appeared before his eyes. Duan Lingtian swept a glance at the medicinal materials. The medicinal materials he saw were more or less similar to the soul-fixing root and the soul-stabilizing grass he was looking for. Thank you for your help, clan leader, Duan Lingtian said solemnly as he turned to look at Lu Rui. It was obvious the neat pile of medicinal materials in front of him was just recently gathered. This was enough to prove Lu Rui's good intention and sincerity. It elicited a sense of warmth that rose from the bottom of Duan Lingtian's heart. Although he was a grade 1 alchemist, he did not refine a single pill for the Lu clan since he joined the Lu clan a few days ago. It could be said he did not contribute anything to the Lu clan yet. Under such circumstances, the efforts Lu Rui put in, that represented the Lu clan, made him felt thankful from the bottom of his heart. I hope you'll find the things you want, Elder Duan. Lu Rui responded with a smile. All right. Duan Lingtian nodded as he turned his head back to look at the pile of herbs in front of him carefully. Soon after, his gaze landed on one of the medicinal materials and stayed there. At the same time, the atmosphere in the side palace turned awfully heavy. Huff, puff, huff, puff, only Duan Lingtian's quickening breath could be heard. Lu Rui could not help but feel curious when he heard Duan Lingtian's breath quickened. He walked over to Duan Lingtian's side like a gust of wind and looked in the direction of Duan Lingtian's gaze. A root-shaped herb appeared before his eyes. All of the roots of this root-shaped medicine were curled together and twisted into a ball. It looked extremely odd. Is this the soul-fixing root? Lu Rui asked, slightly startled. This root-shaped medicinal material was extremely different from the textual description of the soul-fixing root he read in the ancient book. It did not mention the roots of the soul-fixing root curling up together. That's right, this is the soul-fixing root. And it's not just any ordinary soul-fixing root. Chapter 1077 Endless Fantasy Translation, not just any ordinary soul-fixing root. Lu Rui blurted out when he saw he had awakened Duan Lingtian from his daze. A hint of confusion could be seen in his eyes. He had no idea what Duan Lingtian meant by this. Yes. Duan Lingtian, who just snapped out of his daze, had an excited expression on his face. An ordinary soul-fixing root usually has straight roots. However, once it has lived more than 1,000 years, its roots will start to curl up. The longer it lives, the more curled up the roots will be. Duan Lingtian lifted the soul-fixing root with curled up roots with a hint of excitement in his eyes. Then, in this case, this soul-fixing root must have lived for a long period of time. Lu Rui's eyes brightened immediately when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Elder Duan, can you guess how old it is? Looking at the degree of curling of its root, I'd say it's at least 5,000 years old. This kind of soul-fixing root could be considered as a coiled dragon root. Duan Lingtian said as he studied the soul-fixing root in his hand. Coiled dragon root. The moment Lu Rui heard Duan Lingtian's words, his eyes narrowed instantly. Naturally, he had heard of the coiled dragon root before. A coiled dragon root was not the name of a certain root-shaped medicinal material. Instead, any rare root-shaped medicinal materials that were 5,000 years old were called coiled dragon root. I can't believe this soul-fixing root has already become a coiled dragon root. No wonder I missed it before and didn't take it with me. Lu Rui exclaimed, it's fortunate that you're knowledgeable and could identify it in just a glance, Elder Duan. Otherwise, it'll only be covered in dust even if it continues to stay inside our Lu clan's treasure vault. Congratulations, Elder Duan. Lu Rui smiled as he congratulated Duan Lingtian after he regained his senses. Thanks, clan leader. Duan Lingtian quickly thanked him before putting the soul-fixing root into his spatial ring as though he had obtained a valuable treasure. He could not calm down for a long time. Whether it was the soul-fixing root or the soul-stabilizing grass, both were extremely rare treasures in the Cloud Continent. Many people had never seen them even once in their entire lives. Previously, Duan Lingtian did not think he would be able to obtain the soul-fixing root in Lu Clan. Although he had followed Lu Rui to the Lu Clan's treasure vault, he was still skeptical about it. He only intended to come here to try his luck. It did not cross his mind that he would really come across a soul-fixing root. Perhaps, this is what people meant by a coincidence, Duan Lingtian thought to himself. With this soul-fixing root, I can first concoct a liquid medicine for Tianwu to consume and heal part of the wound on her soul. I only hope she'll be able to wake up once the wound is partially healed, Duan Lingtian muttered to himself. He had an anxious expression on his face when he thought about this. Elder Duan, continue to take a look. See if you can find the soul-stabilizing grass, too, Lu Rui said with a smile. Duan Lingtian nodded before he began to look at the several dozens of medicinal materials in front of him. In the end, he could not find anything at all. There's no soul-stabilizing grass here. Although there was no soul-stabilizing grass, the fact that he managed to find the soul-fixing root was still a pleasant surprise to Duan Lingtian. Clan leader, I want to head back first. Duan Lingtian was eager to go back as quickly as he could. He wanted to formulate a potion for Feng Tianwu to consume as soon as he could. He did not want to stay here for a moment longer. All right, the clan leader of Lu Clan, Lu Rui, was naturally a smart person. There was no doubt he could hear the urgency in Duan Lingtian's tone. In the next instance, the two of them left the side palace that contained various medicinal materials and walked outside. They went back using the way they came from. Clan leader, if the clan needs any grade 1 pills, you can just make a list for me. Once the medicinal materials are here, I'll immediately refine the grade 1 pills for the clan, Duan Lingtian said to Lu Rui solemnly. Put aside the fact that he would still need to rely on the Lu clan a lot in the future, the current situation alone made him owe the Lu clan a huge favor. Perhaps Lu Rui was not too clear about the value of the soul-fixing root, but he knew it very well. It was a rare treasure that could restore the soul. It was not something any ordinary rare medicinal materials could compare to. The moment Lu Rui heard Duan Lingtian's words, his eyes brightened immediately. Great, great, I'll go back and make a list. After that, I'll pass all the medicinal materials to you, Elder Duan. Grade 1 pills. Although their Lu clan had them as well, they were made by the guild leader of the Alchemist Guild's main guild from the southern outer land. Moreover, they needed to pay quite a hefty sum for it as well. That was still acceptable. However, every time the guild leader of the Alchemist Guild's main guild made the grade 1 pills for their Lu clan, he would impose a lot of restrictions, and he was unwilling to refine a lot for them. This left them helpless. They had always lamented the fact that their clan did not have any grade 1 alchemists. If there was a grade 1 alchemist in their Lu clan, why would they need to appeal to the guild leader of the Alchemist Guild's main guild from the southern outer land? The last grade 1 alchemist in their Lu clan existed nearly 1,000 years ago. Due to this reason, Duan Lingtian's appearance was similar to the light at the end of the tunnel for the Lu clan. It meant the Lu clan no longer needed to bow and beg another person for grade 1 pills in the future. This was also one of the reasons why the group of people from Lu clan, including Lu Rui the clan leader, was awfully respectful toward Duan Lingtian when he revealed his identity as a grade 1 alchemist and announced his intention of joining the Lu clan. The Lu clan desperately needed a grade 1 alchemist to shoulder their golden name of being an alchemist clan. Soon after, Duan Lingtian and Lu Rui left the Lu clan's treasure vault and arrived at the eastern side of the Lu clan's residence. Elder Duan, you don't have to worry about the soul-stabilizing grass. I'll ask my men to send out words that I'm offering a reward for the soul-stabilizing grass. Lu Rui reassured Duan Lingtian before they parted ways. However, I'll need to trouble you to draw a detailed drawing of the soul-stabilizing grass for me. My understanding about this grass is only limited to the rough text excerpt in the ancient books. I don't think other people will be able to identify it even if they happen to come across one, Lu Rui voiced out his intention. Offer a reward. When Duan Lingtian heard Lu Rui's words, his eyes lit up instantly. He wasted no time in taking the paper and pen handed over by Lu Rui and quickly drew the soul-stabilizing grass from his memory that he inherited from the rebirth martial emperor. The rebirth martial emperor had seen the soul-stabilizing grass several times. He was very particular about every detail. After 15 minutes, Duan Lingtian finally completed the drawing of the soul-stabilizing grass. Great drawing! Lu Rui's eyes gleamed brightly when he saw vivid and lifelike drawing Duan Lingtian handed him. He smiled. With this drawing as a blueprint, I'll make 10,000 copies and distribute them. I can distribute them to the entire northern mountain land and even half of the southern outer land. More people will be able to search for the soul-stabilizing grass that way. What reward do you plan to offer, clan leader? Duan Lingtian asked. When Lu Rui heard Duan Lingtian's words, he muttered lightly, well, I must first ponder over it. Ordinary things won't be enough to entice all the martial artists who know about this matter to search for the soul-stabilizing grass. A light bulb flashed in Duan Lingtian's mind and he quickly chimed in, clan leader, I have a suggestion. Please tell me, Elder Duan. Lu Rui looked at Duan Lingtian. How about this? Give your word that whoever obtains the soul-stabilizing grass will be rewarded with a grade 1 spirit weapon and 10 grade 1 life recovery pills. Duan Lingtian suggested bluntly. A grade 1 spirit weapon. 10 grade 1 life recovery pills. The moment Duan Lingtian's words left his mouth, Lu Rui, the clan leader of Lu clan, was shocked. He stood there with his mouth agape for a moment. Whether it was a grade 1 spirit weapon or a grade 1 life recovery pill, they were both extremely valuable treasure in the inner land, let alone the outer land. If they appeared in the outer land, it would be enough to cause a war that people were willing to die for. Elder Duan, the grade 1 life recovery pills are still feasible since we still have a dozen left in our Lu clan stock. Even if we don't have enough, you can still refine more of them. Lu Rui took a deep breath to calm down before he continued saying, but, regarding the grade 1 spirit weapon, even in our Lu clan, we only have 4 in our hands. 3 of them are in the hands of the 3 guardian elders, and 1 is in my hand. These 4 grade 1 spirit weapons are passed down by our Lu clan's ancestors Sai. Clan leader, I think you must have misunderstood me, Duan Lingtian interrupted Lu Rui. He knew Lu Rui had misunderstood him. Misunderstood? Lu Rui was shocked. Clan leader, I don't intend to let the clan give out the rewards that I just suggested. I'm already very thankful that the clan is helping me to spread the news through your overwhelming network. Duan Lingtian nodded before he continued saying, as for the grade 1 spirit weapon and the 10 grade 1 life recovery pills, I'll be responsible for providing them. The instant Lu Rui heard this, he heaved a sigh of relief. I've forgotten that since you're a grade 1 alchemist, Elder Duan, you can easily get your hands on a grade 1 spirit weapon. As long as a grade 1 alchemist had enough medicinal materials, he could refine a large number of grade 1 pills. A large amount of grade 1 pills could be used to exchange for a grade 1 spirit weapon crafted by a grade 1 weapons craftsman. Naturally, this was what Lu Rui thought. If he knew the purple-clad young man standing before him was not only a grade 1 alchemist but a grade 1 weapons craftsman as well, who knew what expression he would be wearing now. Clan leader, I'll leave this matter to you, Duan Lingtian said solemnly. Rest assured, Elder Duan. Lu Rui nodded. I'll make sure everything goes smoothly. With the rewards you promised, I believe even a martial monarch would be tempted to help you search for the soul-stabilizing grass. That's what I'm aiming for. Duan Lingtian smiled. After parting ways with Lu Rui, Duan Lingtian flew out like an arrow that was shot out from the bow and rushed back to his residence. Tian Wu, your big brother Duan has already found the soul-fixing root. With the medicinal efficacy of the 5,000-year-old soul-fixing root, it'll heal most of your soul injury, Duan Lingtian murmured. Chapter 1078. Pissed. A soft whistle resonated suddenly in a quiet room. The door of the room was shut tightly. A purple-clad young man stood in front of a bed as flame burst out of his palm. The flame was different from ordinary flame. It was purple in color. Moreover, there was a faint layer of gold around the purple flame. It was the grade 1 pill fire, violet gold pill fire. That purple-clad young man was none other than Duan Lingtian, who had returned after parting ways with Lu Rui, the clan leader of Lu clan. He headed back to his room as soon as he returned. When he was in the room, he lifted the sleeping Feng Tianwu from the ice coffin and laid her on the bed. Then, he began to solidify the grade 1 pill fire. This 5,000 years old soul-fixing root can only be refined by a grade 1 pill fire or above, Duan Lingtian muttered. If there was another person here, someone conscious unlike the sleeping Feng Tianwu, he would definitely feel puzzled if he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Isn't the grade 1 pill fire the highest grade pill fire? Are there even pill fires above grade 1? That person would definitely ask. Naturally, this was because most people did not know about quasi-royal grade alchemists and royal grade alchemists. Royal grade alchemists were alchemists who truly stood at the peak on Cloud Continent. Duan Lingtian muttered to himself as he casually took out a weird root-shaped medicinal material. The roots of the weird root-shaped medicinal material were curled up together. It looked extremely strange. It was none other than the soul-fixing root. Duan Lingtian guided the soul-fixing root to the top of the grade 1 pill fire before he allowed the grade 1 pill fire to shroud it completely. 15 minutes passed, there was no sign of changes at all in the soul-fixing root. As expected from a soul-fixing root that has survived for 5,000 years. A whole 15 minutes have gone by and the grade 1 pill fire is still unable to temper it without the help of a cauldron, Duan Lingtian exclaimed in surprise. In the next instance, Duan Lingtian took out a cauldron before he threw the soul-fixing root into the cauldron. With the help of the cauldron, he was able to temper the soul-fixing root in no time at all. Moreover, he successfully concocted the potion he needed after he added some ordinary medicinal materials. It was not that he did not want to refine it into a pill. It was because once a soul-fixing root was tempered, it would be impossible to refine it into a pill. Due to this reason, he could only turn it into a potion. Slap! Duan Lingtian lifted his hand and smacked the cauldron. The grade 1 pill fire immediately burned around the cauldron's spout as though it had become a layer of barrier. Swish! In the next instance, a gush of black liquid as dark as ink shot out like a sharp arrow and pierced through the barrier formed by the grade 1 pill fire before it came to a halt in the air. An invisible force swept out from Duan Lingtian's hand and guided the potion to float in the air. After retrieving his cauldron, Duan Lingtian guided the potion to the bed. He used one hand to lift Feng Tianwu up so she could lie on the head of the bed. At the same time, he slowly opened her slightly chapped lips with his hand. Wish! Duan Lingtian guided the potion into her mouth, and it slowly flowed into her body. Soon after, Duan Lingtian was done with feeding the potion to Feng Tianwu. Tianwu. After everything was done, Duan Lingtian heaved a sigh of relief. He extended his spiritual energy and followed the direction where the medicinal efficacy of the potion refined from the soul-fixing root was headed. Duan Lingtian's spiritual energy could clearly sense that after the medicinal efficacy had entered Feng Tianwu's body, it went straight to her mind. Soon after, it gathered in her brain before it rushed toward her damaged soul. The soul was like a flashing ball of fire that was located in the depth of the mind. Feng Tianwu had damaged one corner of her soul. It was the root cause of her coma. Swish, 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 comma. The medicinal efficacy that gathered in Feng Tianwu's mind merged with her soul in just a short moment. Her soul was completely enveloped by the medicinal efficacy. One could only see the medicinal efficacy roiling around it. By right, Tianwu's soul won't be completely healed with just the soul-fixing root alone even if it's a 5,000 years old soul-fixing root. Duan Lingtian felt slightly confused. I wonder if Tianwu will wake up. If she wakes up, it's very likely that it'll negatively affect her due to her damaged soul. Duan Lingtian's heart jolted even though he had already prepared himself for the worst-case scenario. I hope the rewards that the clan leader is offering on my behalf will get me the soul-stabilizing grass. I'll be able to completely heal Tianwu's soul with the soul-stabilizing grass. Duan Lingtian had an expectant expression on his face when he thought about this. Time continued to pass by quietly. Feng Tianwu's soul was still shrouded by the roiling medicinal efficacy. Due to that, Duan Lingtian's spiritual energy was unable to approach it. All he could do was watch from afar. Duan Lingtian continued to wait for the final result silently by the bedside. He knew that there would be two possible outcomes once the medicinal efficacy had completely merged with Feng Tianwu's soul. One of the outcomes was Feng Tianwu would continue to remain unconscious and would only wake up when she consumed the potion refined from the soul-stabilizing grass. The other outcome was Feng Tianwu would wake up, but her soul would still be damaged. It would negatively affect her in some way. Night gradually came. It was so dark that Duan Lingtian could not even see his own hands in front of him. However, it did not seem to bother him at all. The medicinal efficacy was still roiling. The spiritual energy Duan Lingtian had extended kept him updated about the status of Feng Tianwu's soul that was located in her mind. He continued to wait patiently by the bed. The first ray of light from the morning sun shrouded the earth, and the room regained its brightness. It's done. Duan Lingtian noticed that the medicinal efficacy of the potion that was refined from the soul-fixing root had already completely merged with Feng Tianwu's soul and healed part of the damage in her soul. Tianwu. After he withdrew his spiritual energy, he looked at Feng Tianwu nervously as he held her hands. She had been lying in the ice coffin for a long time, and she was affected by the cold. Her hands were incredibly hot even though she had already left the coffin for an entire day. However, Duan Lingtian was not bothered about this at all. His gaze was locked on Feng Tianwu's delicate and beautiful face. He only wanted to know if she would wake up with her soul partially healed. Time passed quietly. Half an hour had gone by, but there were still no signs of Feng Tianwu waking up. When Duan Lingtian saw this, he could not help but sigh. He shifted his gaze away and muttered, "Looks like I'll have to wait for the soul-stabilizing grasp before I can wake Tianwu up." At this moment, a light moan suddenly sounded and entered Duan Lingtian's ears like thunder. He narrowed his eyes and hurriedly stood up. His eyes were instantly locked on the red-clad woman on the bed again. He saw Feng Tianwu's little mouth quivering, and there was also some movement on that beautiful and delicate face. In the next moment, her autumn eyes that were as clear as water opened. The first thing that entered her sight was Duan Lingtian, who was looking into her eyes. However, there were no hints of recognition in her eyes at all. Unfamiliar. When Feng Tianwu looked at Duan Lingtian, her eyes looked distant. It was as though she did not know who Duan Lingtian was at all. The distant gaze caused a pang of pain in Duan Lingtian's heart. Looks like the thing I feared most has happened, Duan Lingtian muttered to himself. Whoosh! Before Duan Lingtian could figure out what was happening, a red light suddenly flashed across his eyes. In the next moment, he saw Feng Tianwu had already left the bed and disappeared before his eyes. At the same time, he could clearly feel a wave of hot aura at his back. Tianwu. Duan Lingtian turned to look at Feng Tianwu, who was hovering in the air with her red dress fluttering as blazing flames rose up around her body. He noticed the gaze that Feng Tianwu used to look at him did not contain any emotions at all. It was extremely distant, as though she was looking at some stranger. Duan Lingtian took a deep breath and suppressed his chaotic emotion before asking gently, "Tianwu, don't you remember me? I'm your big brother Duan." Big brother Duan. Feng Tianwu frowned the moment she heard Duan Lingtian's words. She hovered in the air looking as though she was struggling to remember something. The red dress on her body moved with the rolling flame around her body. It made her look like a fire elf. "That's right, I'm your big brother Duan. Duan Lingtian." Duan Lingtian immediately seized the opportunity at this moment when she seemed vulnerable to try and awaken her memory when he saw her lost her in her thoughts. "I don't know you." However, all he received was a cold shout from Feng Tianwu. Moreover, there was a layer of frost on her delicate and beautiful face. It was as though even the flames around her body would find it difficult to melt the frost. Whoosh! As Feng Tianwu lifted a hand, a sword suddenly appeared in her hand. A red flexible sword that was 5 foot long and as thin as cicada wings. It was none other than the quasi-royal grade spirit sword that Duan Lingtian gave her previously. However, she was currently aiming the sword at Duan Lingtian. She shouted, "Who the hell are you? Young master, young master, comma." At this moment, an urgent voice came from outside the room door. It was none other than Shang Quan, who had hurriedly rushed over after the servants notified him of some strange movement in Duan Lingtian's room. However, he did not receive any response. "Tianwu, I'm big brother Duan, have you forgotten? I was the one who gave you the sword in your hand not too long ago. Have you forgotten all about it?" Duan Lingtian did not guard himself against Feng Tianwu even though she was aiming her sword at him. Instead, he looked at Feng Tianwu as he patiently tried to awaken her memory. "Big brother Duan, you were the one who gave me this sword." Feng Tianwu muttered in a low voice as she looked at the Duan Lingtian before shifting her eyes back to the sword in her hand. "Yes, do you remember now?" Duan Lingtian nodded and looked at Feng Tianwu with anticipation. Although he had already mentally prepared himself, his heart still felt bitter and helpless the moment he realized Feng Tianwu had forgotten about him after she woke up. Chapter 1079. However, Feng Tianwu made a sudden move when Duan Lingtian was looking at her expectantly. "Show!" Feng Tianwu charged at him quickly with her sword pointed. Although flames surrounded her body, the aura she emitted was so cold it chilled Duan Lingtian's heart. Feng Tianwu's speed was not fast in Duan Lingtian's eyes, but he did not intend to avoid her. He stood there quietly with tenderness in his eyes as he stared at Feng Tianwu charging at him with her sword. At this moment, it was as if the only thing left in his world was the fiery red figure approaching him. Although the figure seemed to have transformed into a red beast intent on devouring him, there were no changes in his expression or his gaze. It was gentle like water as always. Feng Tianwu had a cold expression on her face as she stabbed her sword forward and pointed it at Duan Lingtian's heart as though she was planning to kill him with just a move. She slowed down immediately when she saw Duan Lingtian remaining motionless, but she was too close to Duan Lingtian. In the end, the sword stopped a hair's breadth away from Duan Lingtian's chest. Why didn't he avoid it? Why does my heart hurts when I attacked him with my sword? Feng Tianwu looked like a ball of flame the moment she arrived in front of Duan Lingtian. Her heart trembled without a reason. At the same time, she felt a little panicked. When she saw how close her sword was to her Duan Lingtian heart, she hurriedly moved to withdraw it. Unfortunately, she was too slow. The inertia brought her forward and sent the tip of the sword in her hand into the purple-clad young man's chest. Splash! Blood splattered on her body and hands. She felt a throbbing pain in her heart when she saw the blood on her hands. Ouch! She dropped her sword and covered her chest. She was in a daze. It felt as though she had lost something in that split second. The feeling of helplessness and panic almost suffocated her. Feng Tianwu's beautiful face paled as she lowered her head and muttered to herself. Why do I feel pain in my heart? Do I really know him? His eyes, why are they so gentle? What's our relationship like? Why didn't he avoid it? Bang! A loud bang reverberated and snapped her out of her daze. Young master. After Shang Quan broke the door, his face changed dramatically when he saw the scene before his eyes. He flew in hurriedly and instantly arrived before the tottering purple figure. Within the time required to raise a hand, Shang Quan pulled out the red flexible sword in the purple-clad young man's chest and threw it on the ground. At the same time, he used origin energy to stop the bleeding. Thank God, we're lucky. Shang Quan breathed a sigh of relief when he realized the sword did not stab his heart, and the purple-clad young man's life was not in danger. Duan Lingtian finally moved after Shang Quan pulled out the sword. He was staring blankly at Feng Tianwu as though he had lost his soul. He did not even react when Feng Tianwu stabbed the sword into his chest. He spat out a mouthful of blood when he coughed. The blood that stained the ground was like a blooming red rose. Young master, who hurt you? Shang Quan's face sank as killing intent appeared in his eyes. At this moment, he seemed to have forgotten that Duan Lingtian was stronger than him. He seemed to have forgotten he would not be a match for someone who was capable of hurting Duan Lingtian. Shortly after, Shang Quan got his answer. The answer shocked him. Why didn't you avoid it? An emotionless voice sounded and attracted Shang Quan's attention. His eyes landed on the red-clad woman nearby. Oh, God, Miss Tianwu, you're awake. Shang Quan stared at her with widened eyes. A hint of amazement was visible on his face. Young master, you found the soul-fixing root and the soul-stabilizing grass for Miss Tianwu. This Lu clan's pretty good. They even have the precious materials that you said is extremely rare on Cloud Continent. Shang Quan smiled. However, the smile froze on his face soon after. He finally noticed the bloodstains on Feng Tianwu's hands. His face changed immediately. God, Miss Tianwu, it was you who stabbed the young master. If it was someone else, he would fight to the death to avenge his young master even if he knew he was no match for them. However, Feng Tianwu was his young master's woman. His future young mistress. He could not do anything even if he was angry. Why should I avoid it? Would you have killed me? Duan Lingtian, pale from the excessive blood loss, responded to Feng Tianwu's question with a question. Feng Tianwu remained silent after hearing his reply. There was a burst of sharp pain in her heart when she saw the man's pale face. It was as though her heart had split into two halves. She could not figure out why. Unless I really know him. But why can't I remember anything? No matter how Feng Tianwu struggled to remember, she could not recall anything about the man in front of her. However, she felt her heart ache without reason when she saw the man hurt. It convinced her that she had a very close relationship with the man. At this moment, Feng Tianwu's hostility toward Duan Lingtian disappeared. When Duan Lingtian noticed that, he breathed a sigh of relief and a heartfelt smile crept up on the corner of his mouth. He knew he was right in not avoiding her attack. At least he managed to break through Tian Wu's psychological barrier even with her temporary amnesia. It was a good start. At least, Tian Wu no longer rejected him. Maybe she would even accept him soon. If he had avoided that attack, Feng Tianwu would probably attack even more given her temporary memory loss. It was very likely Feng Tianwu would not accept him as she did now. Young master, what happened between you and Ms. Tianwu? Shang Quan, who standing by the side, felt confused when he saw Duan Lingtian laughing even though he was hurt. Shang Quan, I only found the soul-fixing root in Lu clan. I didn't find the soul-stabilizing grass. Although Tian Wu woke up after she took the refined soul-fixing root potion, she seemed to have lost all of her memory of me, Duan Lingtian explained briefly to Shang Quan. She lost her memory. No wonder. Shang Quan felt as though he was listening to a far-fetched story when he heard Duan Lingtian's explanation. He recovered from the shock and came to a realization. This explained why Ms. Tianwu, who used to love his young master, would hurt him. It turned out that Ms. Tianwu had lost her memory. Young master, what should we do now? Shang Quan asked. As long as we're able to find the soul-stabilizing grass and refine it into a potion for Tianwu to consume, her damaged soul will be healed. At that time, she will naturally remember everything, Duan Lingtian said. All right then. Shang Quan nodded and breathed a sigh of relief. He was worried that Ms. Tianwu would not recover. Who knew if she would stab his young master another 1 or 2 more times? Feng Tianwu heard Duan Lingtian and Shang Quan's conversation. How did I lose my memory? Feng Tianwu asked as she looked at Duan Lingtian. Although the expression on her face was still cold, she did not reject Duan Lingtian as she did before. It could be seen from the way she initiated the conversation with Duan Lingtian. When Duan Lingtian heard Feng Tianwu's inquiry, he could not help but recall the past. It was painful for him, but he recounted everything in detail to Feng Tianwu. He told Feng Tianwu about how she forcefully elevated her fire profundity for him until the fire spirit body's strength erupted. Naturally, he also told her about how he suppressed the volatile fire spirit body's strength after he devilified, even though it still damaged her soul in the end. He told her about everything that had happened after that. So that was what happened. In the past, I sacrificed everything for you, including my own life. Feng Tianwu muttered. Although Feng Tianwu learned of the past from Duan Lingtian, she had lost her memories after all. It was as though she was listening to a story when Duan Lingtian recounted the past. It was impossible for her to be close to Duan Lingtian like before. Although she was cold toward him, she no longer rejected him. Duan Lingtian was very satisfied with that. At least he did not have to worry about Tianwu attacking him anymore. Now, I'll have to wait until we find the soul-stabilizing grass to restore Tianwu's memory. Even if Tianwu knows her past, she won't be like her former self without her memory, Duan Lingtian thought to himself. The current Feng Tianwu was as cold as ice and completely different from how she used to be. It was not just him. She treated everyone coldly as though they owed her money. Duan Lingtian was a bit helpless in that regard. He tried to change her, but he realized there was no way to change it. Eventually, Duan Lingtian ran out of ideas and let her be. At the Lu clan's estate. In one of the mansions on the east side. A figure swept down speedily like a goshawk and landed steadily in the backyard of that mansion. In a pergola in the backyard, a gray-clad young man sat in front of a stone table. He held a wooden sword in his hands with a gloomy face. It was hard to discern the thoughts running through his mind. Young master, are you thinking about little young master again? The person who spoke was an old man. He saw the wooden sword in the gray-clad young man's hand when he walked into the pergola. Elder Guan, do you still remember this wooden sword? The gray-clad young man asked as he twirled the wooden sword in his hands. I remember. The old man nodded and sighed. This is a gift for little young master's 5th birthday. You made the wooden sword for him personally. Back then, little young master was really happy when he received the gift. Yes, almost 30 years have passed just in a blink of an eye. The gray-clad youth nodded. Chapter 1080, Young Master, I overheard something interesting. The old man quickly changed the topic after he saw his young master began to reminisce about the past with great sorrow. The gray-clad young man was none other than the first young master of Lu clan, Lu Song. Lu Song's burning gaze landed on the old man before he asked him in a deep voice, is it related to Duan Lingtian? Yes. The old man nodded. Speak, Lu Song said. Today, clan leader offered a reward for anyone within the northern mountain land and the southern outer land who's able to present him with a rare item, the old man said. A reward? How's a reward given by the clan leader related to Duan Lingtian? Lu Song asked with a frown. What if Duan Lingtian's the one who's offering the reward? The old man questioned. Oh, Lu Song's interest was piqued when he heard this. What item is the clan leader looking for on behalf of Duan Lingtian? They are looking for a rare medicinal material known as the soul-stabilizing grass, the old man explained what he had overheard. At the same time, a lifelike painting of a grass appeared in his hand. This copied painting was distributed by the clan leader. He's looking for this grass, the old man added. I have never seen such a grass. Lu Song frowned and shook his head after taking a look at the painting. Do you know what Duan Lingtian wants to do with this grass? I did not hear anything about that. The old man shook his head. Although I'm unaware of why he wants this grass, I'm sure this grass is extremely important to him, and he desperately wants it. How come? Lu Song looked at the old man skeptically. Young master, do you know what's offered by the clan leader and Duan Lingtian as a reward for finding that grass? The old man asked. Hurry up, just tell me the answer. How would I know the answer to such a question? Lu Song said impatiently. Duan Lingtian promised a grade 1 spirit weapon and 10 grade 1 life recovery pills as a reward for that grass. The old man enunciated each word carefully. His eyes sparkled and with greed when he mentioned the grade 1 spirit weapon. Although he was a martial monarch powerhouse, the best spirit weapon he possessed was merely a grade 2 spirit weapon. Although the Lu clan had several grade 1 spirit weapons, he did not get one due to his current status and position. He might have a chance to obtain a grade 1 spirit weapon if the young master he served became the clan leader of Lu clan. Grade 1 spirit weapon, snap. Lu Song accidentally snapped the wooden sword in his hand after he heard the old man's words. However, he did not seem to notice what he had done. His gaze was fixed on the old man before him. Are you sure it's a grade 1 spirit weapon? Yes. The old man nodded with certainty. I've already verified it. There are only 4 grade 1 spirit weapons in our clan leader would go so far as to give up one of them. A hint of jealousy appeared in Lu Song's eyes and on his face. The grade 1 spirit weapon that's offered as a reward isn't from our clan, the old man said and shook his head. Not a grade 1 spirit weapon from our clan? Lu Song was stunned. He asked, Duan Lingtian is going to provide the grade 1 spirit weapon for the reward. I believe he's capable of refining grade 1 life recovering pills. However, the guild master of the Weapons Craftsman Guild's main guild is the only person able to craft grade 1 spirit weapons in the entire southern outer land. A grade 1 spirit weapon is an extremely rare item in southern outer land. Many martial monarchs from second-rate forces do not even have a grade 1 spirit weapons, Lu Song said. Based on the way he spoke, it was obvious Lu Song did not believe Duan Lingtian was capable of crafting grade 1 spirit weapons. Young master, don't forget that Duan Lingtian is a grade 1 alchemist. As long as he's willing, he can always use grade 1 medicinal pills to exchange for a grade 1 spirit weapon, the old man said. Now that you mentioned it, this is highly possible. It seems like there's a lot of treasure on Duan Lingtian. Lu Song nodded as his eyes flashed. Greed filled his face. This might be a chance for us, Lu Song murmured to himself. He smiled slyly as if he was thinking of something sinister. A chance? The old man was puzzled. Yes, a chance to kill Duan Lingtian. Lu Song's eyes gleamed coldly as his gaze fell on the broken wooden sword. Little Wai, rest assured Big Brother will avenge you. I'm not qualified to be your big brother if I don't shred Duan Lingtian into a million pieces, Lu Song said as he looked at the wooden sword. The old man's eyes brightened suddenly after he heard Lu Song's words. He knew his young master would not have confidently said that if he was not certain. He looked forward to seeing how things would unfold. Young master, how do you plan on killing Duan Lingtian? The old man could not resist asking. Lu Song explained the plan that he had just came up with a moment ago without any hesitation. After that, Lu Song looked at the old man and asked, what are your thoughts on this plan? You are wise, young master. A wide grin could be seen on the old man's face after he listened to the plan. It seems like this time around, we'll also be making a small fortune apart from avenging little young master. Lu Song could not help but feel smug after he listened to the old man's praise. Duan Lingtian, just wait for it. Lu Song's eyes were filled with killing intent when he thought of the purple figure. A huge web of conspiracy was approaching Duan Lingtian with him being unaware. Those people were waiting for him to fall into the trap they set up. All the injuries on Duan Ling Tian that was caused by Feng Tianwu finally healed after he consumed the life-recovering pill and rested for a few days. All that remained was a scar on his chest. The life-recovering pill could have completely healed the scar, but Duan Ling Tian left it there on purpose. Let it be. It's a reminder of an unforgettable memory, Duan Ling Tian thought as he touched the scar on his chest while he was showering. A faint smile hung on his face. After showering, he freshened up and then sat on his bed to cultivate. The room was empty apart from him and the empty ice coffin. As for Tianwu, he had gotten a maid to move her into a neighboring room. 9 Dragons War Sovereign Technique, Roving Dragon Form. Duan Ling Tian fell deep into his cultivation. He was holding 2 different concept fragments in his hands as he comprehended the concepts and cultivated at the same time. Why do I feel like something's not right? Shortly after, Duan Ling Tian opened his eyes. There was a puzzled expression on his face as though a question had stumped him. This is not the first time. Previously when I was comprehending 2 different concepts, it didn't feel like this. Duan Ling Tian shook his head and shut his eyes again to continue his cultivation and comprehending the 2 different concepts. Soon after, he opened his eyes again. What's the problem? Duan Ling Tian frowned. He did not understand what went wrong. He felt something was wrong every time he tried to comprehend 2 different concepts through 2 concept fragments since the time he left the Crimson Sky Kingdom. Duan Ling Tian always felt distracted whenever he attempted to comprehend the concepts. The distraction occasionally occurred when he was trying to comprehend one concept. Then the frequency increased when he tried to comprehend another concept. I must find out the cause this time. Duan Ling Tian was confounded. It had greatly affected his efficiency in comprehending concepts. As time passed, Duan Ling Tian experimented over and over again as he tried to find the cause of the distraction when he was comprehending concepts. After an hour of experimenting, he finally found the cause. This can't be right. Duan Ling Tian was stunned when he figured out the answer. If there was another person in the room observing Duan Ling Tian, they would have noticed a total of 3 different concept fragments in Duan Ling Tian's hands. Just a moment ago, he discovered he could simultaneously comprehend 3 different concepts through 3 corresponding concept fragments. Moreover, the speed of Duan Ling Tian's comprehending the 3 concepts was quite fast. More importantly, the feeling of being distracted was gone. Ah, I see. I'm distracted due to my consciousness splitting. It should be the side effect from that time in the Crimson Sky Kingdom when I was devilified by Devilseal Tablet for the 2nd time. It was not hard for Duan Ling Tian to figure this out. He still remembered the reason why he could comprehend 2 different concepts simultaneously through 2 different concept fragments. It was the side effect of being devilified by the Devilseal Tablet. At that time, his consciousness was forcefully split into 2. This time his consciousness was forcefully split into 3. That was what allowed him to simultaneously comprehend 3 different concepts. In conclusion, this side effect is beneficial to me. It's the total opposite of the other side effect where I can't control my emotion. The latter only caused me problems while the former is helping me. Duan Ling Tian heaved a sigh of relief after he discovered the cause of the distraction. It was always better to be aware of something than to stumble blindly in the dark. I didn't expect the problem that had been plaguing me for so long is due to my consciousness being split into 3. Duan Ling Tian shook his head and smiled bitterly. My consciousness has split into 3, I'm able to comprehend 3 different concepts at the same time. The speed of my comprehension is almost double compared to before. Duan Ling Tian felt extremely satisfied when he thought about this. At the same time, he shut his eyes and continued to focus on his cultivation. In his hands, there were 3 concept fragments to assist him in comprehending the 3 types of concepts.